All right. Turn the music off. I want to hear an echo from myself. All right. Just no nights off. No nights off. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I shouldn't really be this upset as I currently am. Um, I'm upset because I'm going to be made to look like an asshole because of that damn team in Los Angeles. All these gray hairs on my head from the New York Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers the past 2 seasons. And this is where I'm going to start tonight. Before, if you're new to this chat, if you're here in Twitter Live, if you're here in Twitch and you want to talk, I will go to the phone lines and through Twitter Spaces. You can find it on the timeline. Be sure to request, and we'll get to you in just a bit. But to lead the show, it's got to be the Clippers. First of all, the two LA teams playing in the same night can never happen again. I understand there's a reason why they did it. The NBA is not stupid, okay? It was either because of travel, arena, the LA teams having to switch, whatever. Just don't let that happen again. I'm too fucking stressed out. Why am I stressed out? I'm stressed out because I have to watch Reggie Jackson close out a game, second game in a row for a team in which I have equity in. I am frustrated because I have to watch Serge Ibaka and Ivica Zubac sit on the bench and then Serge sitting over there in his scarf cashing checks while the team that they're playing is getting uncontested layups at the rim in the fourth quarter. You close that game, Ty Lue, with Reggie Jackson on the floor, Terrence Mann, Pat Beverly, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. How on earth are you ever going to stop anybody at the rim? Ever! The Clippers are supposed to be known for their defense. You're giving up bunnies. Oh my God. Reggie Jackson. This has to be a bit. They have to be doing this on purpose. This was Doc Rivers' fault? He didn't play Reggie Jackson to close out the game. They may hate him. I'd rather have all the players hate me than have Reggie Jackson playing center. I will give you that Ivica Zubac cannot be out there at times. Ivica Zubac's foot speed is not nearly quick enough to guard Kristaps Porzingis 30 feet from the rim. Well, what was the point of signing Serge Ibaka? What was the point? So when Zubac couldn't be on the floor, you go to someone that's more athletic. Holy shit! These lineup finally puts Terrence Mann in the fourth quarter. After what, 45 minutes of Reggie Jackson didn't work? You couldn't find that out in the first 10 minutes? You need defense. You need any sort of defense. Ty Lue talking big shit about you're going to get what you want when a reporter asked, why isn't Kawhi Leonard guarding Luka? And you send Pat Beverly over there, and he's looking at him like a Las Vegas buffet. Stop sending Patrick Beverly over there. You may have a better chance of just leaving him wide open so he feels awkward and sending 5 guys to go to get the rebound, because we know one can't do it at all. What are you doing? Paul George, lucky. I know he sat Kristaps Porzingis down and he's got that highlight for him. Paul George is lucky this game was on NBA TV. Boy, is he lucky. He should be thanking the gods that they didn't have to see that second quarter, third quarter. He was a team worst minus 21. He was a game worst minus 21 in the third quarter of a close game. The missed dunk. He looked as disengaged through the first 3 quarters. He had a couple shots in the fourth, but in the first 3 quarters, he looked like what AD did in the first. Where's the Paul George that I defended all year? What happened to you? Oh, this guy's going to give me a fucking aneurysm. What is... I can understand losing to a team, but you try and go fight fire with fire against a Maverick squad. All they want to do is turn the game into NBA Jam. Their 7'3" center doesn't play on the interior. So you do them the favor of not punishing them in the post, and you go small to try and fight, again, fire with fire against this team. They have more fire than you. You have Kawhi and Paul George and Marcus Morris and Rajon Rondo, and it just doesn't matter. Luka's playing better than all of them. What happened to the Kawhi Leonard in Toronto? The dynasty killer. Where is that guy? He had 30 points in the first half. What did he finish with? 41. He scored 11 in the second half playing 41 minutes. God bless you. Thank you for the first half, Kawhi. That's a recency. But you watch the game. How do you not take it over? That's the difference between watching LeBron and Kawhi right now. We get not only one LaFuck you three, we get a LaFuck you fadeaway, we get a LaFuck you dime pass, we get LaFuck you everything. When his team needed him most, just get it done. Kawhi, if you're going to be the best player in the NBA, just get it done. I don't care what numbers you put up. He didn't get shit done in that fourth quarter. All he did was ended up on the highlight of Luka Doncic on the wrong side of it. Luka has treating Kawhi Leonard like it's Isaiah Thomas, and I'm not talking about the Detroit one on defense. I'm not talking about the Detroit one. I'm talking about the little one that everyone used to switch on. Luka is looking at Kawhi like he's little Isaiah Thomas. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care. These Mavericks do not care that you have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. That brand name means nothing. It might as well be Bear Stearns. You gave them the bulletin board material by losing these two games on purpose, not giving a shit who you play in the first round because we're the Clippers and we just want to avoid the Lakers. It's a genius move on paper, but you have to be able to back it up knowing that the Mavericks, the first thing they did was pin that to the whiteboard before they went into the film room. The Clippers don't care about us. You come out there and play Reggie Jackson 30 minutes. 30! Terrence Mann somehow got 15 at the end. Thank the Lord. Why is Nick Batum not on the floor? What was the point of signing Nick Batum and Serge Ibaka? If you're not going to use him in a game in which you need athleticism, somebody to clean the glass, somebody to stop the other team from getting penetration and just laying the ball in. You got Luka Doncic looking back and barking in Pat Beverly's ear. Like he's paying him on commission. Like he's his subordinate. Pat Beverly had an incredible block on Tim Hardaway Jr. He had a huge step-in charge, and he had two which probably should have been charged. He did everything that he can. You're asking Pat Beverly to play the five. Luka Doncic is wearing it like a sign around his neck, exactly what he wants to do. You do not remember the beginning of game one when he screamed at the top of his lungs? He points right at Pat Beverly and says, he's too small? What other signs do you need, Ty Lue, to get a big man in the game that can guard the perimeter? Zubats can't be out there? Fine. Go to Ibaka and Batum. Inexplicable. Inexplicable that Ivica Zubats and Nicholas Batum and Serge Ibaka barely outplayed Reggie Jackson's minutes. You think those Mavericks are scared of some dude who looked like he just got off the racquetball court with that headband and those Oakleys? Just launching threes from 30 feet? By all means, change this shit. This series is not over. It is not over. And I'm going down with this Clippers ship because I know what I saw this year. This game is not over. This series is not over. They go out there and win game 3, things turn around. But my God, last year, you get a mulligan. You get a mulligan coming in this year. You put off the regular season because it's all about the playoffs. Nobody's going to judge us. And you put yourself in quite literally the best position possible in that 4 seed. You did everything on paper. That's why they don't play the game on paper. They don't play it with a fucking calculator because the calculator probably tells you Reggie Jackson being out there is a good thing. Fuck the calculator. Put Ibaka out there. You have Boogie Cousins. Put Put him out there. Anybody but him. Surely we can create space with Reggie Jackson and Rondo and Pat Beverly on the floor the same time as Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Why don't you just send out an RSVP for the entire Mavericks team to collapse on Kawhi in the post? Why do you think it went from 30 points to 11? Maybe we're going to leave the other guys open now because this guy's burning us. Y'all drive me crazy. You know how many assholes I'm going to have in my mentions if they get swept out of this series? I'm going to have to deactivate my account. You're so much better than that team. Stop trying to play Mavericks basketball. Destroy them on the interior. It's your only chance. If you try and go shot for shot, star power versus star power, that's over. Luka's better than them both right now. And he doesn't care even if it's true or not. He doesn't care. He thinks he's better. Y'all have lost all that equity. Now it comes down to X's and O's. Make them play Willie Cauley-Stein. Make Porzingis play on the interior. You saw what happened when you put him in the damn paint? He's sitting on his butt playing Twister. Somebody in the comments just said they can't destroy them inside, though. That's the thing. Well, we might as well try out and find out. Because this ain't working. They're lucky they didn't lose this game by 15 if they didn't hit a couple of miracle threes during that comeback. $113 points, 127 points. And by the way, from a Knicks fan point of view, I don't want to ever hear the Porzingis trade ever again. It's not the Porzingis trade. It's the Tim Hardaway Jr. trade. That's the trade that you guys want. Because they're paying all this attention to what is supposed to be the dynamic duo of Luka and Porzingis, and Hardaway has ascended to basketball immortality all of a sudden in these two games. Why? Because he's wide open. Why? Because they stretch the floor. Why? Because there's no one guarding him on this Clipper team that can guard him out there. Should we move on? I don't know what else to say. I don't. I'm fine with Pat Bev being out there, guys. I'm fine with Marcus Morris being out there. This Clipper team, without a big guy in the paint, has proved if Kawhi is not going to take over the game, two-way basketball defensively, like he did on that Toronto round, he just doesn't leave a mark on the defensive side that he's supposed to. We need the Toronto Kawhi. We don't need just all-star Kawhi. That's what he is right now. He's an all-star. 41 points is 41 points. That's all-star. The Clippers to win the title, Kawhi's got to be the best player on the floor. I thought that was a given at one point. Sure doesn't feel like it anymore. Maybe Doc Rivers knew something. I'm not gonna put the Doc Rivers tweet out there into the world until this series is over. Because there's still a game 3 to play. But if they come out and they stink it up again and they just look disengaged, they look like they quit in those final seconds. And how we don't have a coaching staff. You spent all this money on the Lawrence Franks, the Ty Lues, the Lee Jenkins of the world. You have an army of front office employees and coaching staff, LA Clippers, that most of these other teams didn't dig deep into their pockets to go pay for. And I'm watching this Clippers team melt down in the final seconds, and Nicholas Batum fouls with 3 seconds left. Just completely no clue of the game situation. There was 23 seconds left on the game clock, 3 seconds left on the shot clock. He reaches out to grab Luke as he dribbles by. Or whoever it was, he just reaches out and grabs him. He did it because he was thinking, well, it's just the first foul in the last 2 minutes. It resets the shot clock to 14. The game's over. They might have actually had a chance if they just let him heave it up and got it back. And guess what led to that in the first place? A rebound, which they didn't get the entire fourth quarter. Name me one tough rebound that they got with Kawhi on the floor. It is the perfect storm of everything that can go wrong. From the coaching staff, to the lineups, to the rotations, to the players themselves. It's just not working. I'm actually curious. The recap, the total rebounds. The Clippers out-rebounded them. Unbelievable. Defensive 30-30. And with 30, it was tied 30-30. Sure didn't feel like it down the stretch. How did that Clippers score more points off of turnovers than the Mavericks and give up 127? How did the Clippers score 60 points in the paint and lose? Every statistic, 90% from the foul line. Clippers. The Mavericks were 54%. They left 11 points at the foul line. You still almost got blown out. The game was lost at the three-point line. 18 of 34 for the Mavericks. 13 of 33. One, you can't guard the three because you try and go small. And two, you're shooting as many threes as the Mavericks when you have 4 players on that team that should be dominating on the interior. I guess they just don't choose to. All of these statistics. Clippers win. Clippers win. Fast break points. 13-5 for the Clippers. They won every stat. They almost shot identical field goal percentages. My God. The box score doesn't even save you. Like, if this happened, if Jimmy Butler shoots better, we're going to win game 2, like what the Heat were saying. You can't say anything about the Clippers. They won every freaking stat. They just can't get the rebounds, the ones that matter. They can't get the stops when it matters. They can't even strike an ounce of the fear of God into Luka. Let's move on. I'll go just some notes on the Lakers. Some thoughts on the Lakers, then I'll go to the calls. I think all Laker fans are in agreement just to say Anthony Davis had to be Anthony Davis. And that requires him on the ball, usage, minutes, all the above. And granted, he didn't shoot the most times on the team, and he only had 15 field goal attempts. But down the stretch, it was all AD and LeBron. That's what you need. You have the 2 of the 5 best players in the NBA. If that game is close, we're going to the 2 best players, and they better show up, and they did tonight. But the story about the entire game, that was the end of the fourth quarter, the story of the entire game is that Laker defense. The number 1 rated Laker defense, which carried this team during the regular season when LeBron and Anthony Davis were out. When Cam Payne was campaigning for comeback player of the year or most improved player in the playoffs, it was the Laker defense that got them to the finish line, and it's always going to be the Laker defense. We know we're going to get the LaFuck yous at the other end at some point. It's LeBron. If Anthony Davis is engaged, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. That's the Anthony Davis that takes the Lakers to the finals again. Getting that out of him every game has always been a challenge, no matter what team or coach he's played for. But without Chris Paul out there, Chris Paul he's still the point guard. God, he still had a nice highlight, but he's a zombie. He can't be on the floor. He can't be on the floor right now. He's too hurt. It's not his fault. He got hurt. He gets hurt all the time. It's unfortunate. Doesn't take anything away from his career. He's hurt. He can't be on the floor. He can barely take the ball and get it above his head when he shoots. He can't even complete a pass to the corner. It hit Saric in the ankles. That was when he got taken out. He can't be out there. He's 6 feet tall, and now he's mortal. I admire the heart. I'm never going to say a bad thing about him. But he can't be on the floor. And if you don't have Chris Paul at 100%, you're not winning this series. I had promised you guys every single time that the Phoenix Suns play the Lakers in this series, the first thing that I would do is I would surprise you and myself, and I would look at the total team turnovers and how the Lakers performed, because they are the best team that wants to get out and transition against you. That's all they want to do down the stretch if the game is close. They have two ways of scoring. LeBron, SOS, option one. Turnover, unleash the Godzillas in a fast break transition. Option number two. Phoenix Suns tonight, their season average was 14, I believe. Tonight they only turn it over 13 times. The Lakers only get 5 points off of turnovers. That's another win for the Phoenix Suns. It's a win. I know they lost the game, but that itself is a win. And without Chris Paul on the floor, they forced 9 turnovers on the Lakers, and they scored 21 points themselves. They beat the Lakers at the most important statistic for that team in the number 1 rated defense by 16 points. You lost the game. But you went as far, I think Cam Payne, and granted Devin Booker's still on that team, he took them as far as that team could go tonight. If LeBron decides to throw up the middle finger, there's nothing anyone, no mortal human on this planet can do about it. But what a relief that they got from Marc Gasol tonight. Put trust in Frank Vogel. Before I started going to the phone calls last time, I said, make sure Frank Vogel's got your trust. Because he proved to us after losing that first game against Portland and Houston in the bubble that he is willing to bench JaVale and Dwight Howard because they're not the right players for this series. Doesn't matter who you are, how much money you're making. Vogel has full trust from me that whatever lineup he goes with, I'm going to believe it's the right one because it's an adjustment or a chess move or a pivot that they're confident is going to work. And Marc Gasol gets 20 minutes tonight. So if you're looking at the box score, he goes 2 of 4. But those 2 threes that he hit, the second of which was him kind of like bouncing around the perimeter, or just like looking around. No one was going out to guard him, but it was late and it was really needed because the shot clock was expiring. Simply, I said, if Marc Gasol shoots just 3 or 4 total threes, he has done his job. Because the space that he creates being out there allows Anthony Davis to play the true 4 position on the defensive side, but allow to play the 5 on offense. You let that man roam with space. You let LeBron roam with space. You see what you got tonight. I'm going to have some Laker fans that are like, why aren't you giving Andre Drummond your due? Because he had those 12 rebounds, he had about 6 of those on one play, in which he couldn't finish at the rim. He's still getting beat up by DeAndre Ayton. I'm not ready to say Andre Drummond has earned his spot getting 40 minutes back in this rotation because Marc Gasol simply makes everyone else better just by his mere presence in the ability to knock down those 3 or 4 threes per game. That's it. He has done his job. We know what he brings on the defensive side. You don't lose anything from going from Drummond to Marc Gasol, but that space really, really helped. And if you're going to try and come at me with Drummond does this and Drummond does that, Drummond was without a doubt the worst plus minus of all the starters when they were out there together. I don't mind the combination. I don't mind doing a tag team. I like what they did tonight. Marc Gasol can't run 30 minutes. Then I'll be screaming about Marc Gasol getting too many minutes. I don't mind the balance. But if Drummond's going to be in there, then Anthony Davis is going to be on the perimeter. And Anthony Davis can't be that super engaged Godzilla for 45 minutes. I think he's proved that to us many times. But when Marc Gasol is out there, it really unleashed him, and he had energy in the bank to close out that game. That Laker defense, though, like you are, if I'm a Laker fan, I'd be pounding my chest in those final 4 minutes. I know LeBron, again, did year 18 things. That's like a given. It doesn't even surprise us at that point. Those fadeaways he hit, like, you knew it was going in. Perfectly contested by Cam Johnson. Perfect defense. Did everything you can possibly do without fouling. Didn't matter. But the reason why they were they were holding the lead in the first place was because they didn't have a chance in God of getting a clean look at that hoop, at that rim. That's the Laker defense. When that Laker defense, they put Caruso out there, KCP, Schroeder, Wes Matthews, LeBron, Davis. They put those guys out there. National Geographic, locked up abroad. Watch it sometime. Because that's what it felt like tonight with the Suns. Yeah, Devin Booker on this team, there's just nothing he can do. When they go overdrive, when they turn on the NOS cannons on defense, there's no defense that can contest with the Lakers. I thought it was the Clippers. I'm learning pretty quick I was mistaken. Going on the phone lines. Rick ain't here in the comments says, what about Braun yelling at KCP to shoot? This is from Twitter Live comments. That's the type of leadership that LeBron has not only displayed throughout his career, but the equity that he has with his teammates, that he can walk right up to you and scream in your face. With KCP, was 0 for 4 tonight. 0 for 4, 0 points. But that's not saying he had a bad game, because we know what he did on the defensive side. He was part of that important unit down the stretch. He gets right in KCP's face, who put up a goose egg. Says at the top of his lungs in all caps, I want you to shoot. Don't ever pass that up. And I know the possession he was talking about. It was when the Lakers were passing it around the perimeter 4 times and there was a shot clock violation. KCP passed it up. Or it came to KCP late. It's that type of reinforcement. It was a combination of kumbaya, also hard love. It felt like a little bit of both watching it. But of course, KCP and LeBron have won a title together. They've been in the trenches. And him walking up there is both motivation, positive reinforcement, but also don't do that shit again. And that LeBron deems that attention and is able to extract the best out of his players in those moments is what makes him so great. Anybody would listen to if LeBron went over there and yelled at Kevin Durant like that. If he went over there and yelled at Luka Doncic, at anybody, any star, they're going to listen. And for him to continue that role in the moment and encourage him 0 for 4, now I don't give a shit what your stats say. Shoot the damn ball. That's why you're here. Shoot or shoot. Having LeBron as a teammate in that moment makes it worth it. Worth trading Lonzo. Worth trading Ingram for that moment in which he can watch what KCP does in Game 3. Let's look forward to what KCP does in Game 3. Now that he's got LeBron in his ear saying, don't ever not shoot that ball again. Stop going to your burner accounts, KCP, and trying to defend your 0 for 4 shooting night. Just shoot the damn ball. Phone lines. No, I guess there was another game tonight. Jay Callie, welcome in, my friend. Lead us off, would you? Or not. Anybody there? Wave at me. I know I just did a lot of ranting. Wave at me if you're there. go to Luis. Hello, Luis. Welcome in.
Hello?
What's going on?
Yo, what do you think Kawhi is gonna do this summer? How do you think Uncle Dennis was watching that game? Do you think he was like, how many jets am I gonna get? Or maybe thinking some cruises from the Heat owner? What do you think is gonna happen this summer with Kawhi and Uncle Dennis?
I think he's thinking about Game 3. Next. Not thinking about the summer. Why do you buy 6 houses in Los Angeles? AJ, welcome in.
Hey, what's up, Rob? How you doing?
Banging out 1:46 Eastern Standard Time here in the United States, wherever many of you are listening. Welcome in.
Sir, 10:46 p.m. West Coast time.
What's up? What's going on?
Just an excited and happy / relieved Braun fan. I thought it was a pretty important game for them, just energy-wise. Like, I thought they needed to come out and make a statement game for sure. I don't know. It felt like if they went down 0-2, this wasn't last year's team. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
I mean, it felt like more of a must-win for the Suns to me than it did the Lakers, because they say the series doesn't start until the road team wins a game. And you would assume the Lakers go back home even if they lose it, and they can get their shit together and win 2 games. And if the Suns they got that close to the finish line, I mean, that game was tied late, that you just had to find a way to win it. It felt like more of a must-win for them, especially with Chris Paul. I don't know what his health is going to be. He's got to travel now. If he's not healthy, they probably didn't have a chance to begin with. But they had to win this game tonight. They had to. And it didn't happen. So if you're a Laker fan, I'm feeling, even if they lost, I wouldn't have been panicking. But the Suns had to find a way to win this if they actually thought they could win the series. This is why they play 7 games. Okay? This is not March Madness. This is May Madness. In May Madness, it's 7-game series. It's not a 5-game series like it used to be. It's 7-game series for a reason. And it's that the best team is always going to win. And it's a war of attrition as well. So if Chris Paul, God bless his soul, cannot remain healthy, how many different fan bases have had to deal with this? The Rockets and the hamstring, 1 hamstring away from Chris Paul from going to the finals. In New Orleans, the broken hand or whatever happened. Or in LA, the broken hand. In New Orleans, he had a hamstring too, I think.
Yeah, hamstring. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That it was more of a must-win for them, especially because of their youth. I just felt, I don't know, there's something different about this Laker team, and maybe it's just that they hadn't played so many games together that it feels different. It just, I don't know, offensively it felt like, and I know it was the defense that won it, but
yeah,
something just feeling different about this team than last year is all.
Of course. Thanks for the call, AJ. At the end of the day, the Lakers are always going to fall back on 2 things. Their defense, which is better than yours, and their 2 superstars who are better than yours. And I think it's really as simple as that. And regarding Chris Paul, I know Charles Barkley says a lot of stupid shit, but when he's actually serious, he always brings up, like, Chris Paul can't be your best player. Kenny goes, why? Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer. Why can't he be your best player? And Charles Barkley says, because he's 6 feet tall. And in an NBA in which he's being guarded by the likes of Ben Simmons, who's a foot taller than him, even in somebody like an Alex Caruso, the physicality on this mere mortal's body. Remember when it happened? He got clipped by his own man going to the hoop. And yeah, he's hurt. Like, I'm not saying he's not hurt. He shouldn't be hurt. Most of us would be on a gurney going out of there. But when you're a normal human getting mauled by these gigantic things in players, the best player can't be 6 feet tall. Seems to be true every season. It's always a what if with Chris Paul. And that's not his fault. It's always a what if. What if Chris Paul was healthy? What if Chris Paul didn't pull his hamstring? What if Chris Paul did this? It's just unfortunate because he's probably one of the best point guards I've ever seen, ever, in terms of true point guards and floor generals. But he's so little. He's so little, and he's always involved. Tell me, why doesn't everyone else get hurt that way? When Chris Paul takes a charge against a full-speed man that is the size of, just let's call LeBron, like 6'9", 270. How many ridiculous charges has Chris Paul taken this season alone and for the past decade and a half? You're telling me that shit doesn't add up? His body is probably beaten to shit. And in a season in which no one had recovery time. He could have been injured. Something could have been there this entire year that we didn't know about that he played through. It is what it is. What's up, La La Land? Welcome in. Maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Do I need to start spinning the wheel again? Because I will. Don't make me start spinning the wheel. Let's go to Bijath. Hopefully I got that right. Bijath.
What's up, Wob?
What's up, man? Hopefully I pronounced your name right. I saw it in your profile.
Yeah, you got it.
Thanks. What's on your mind, my friend?
I'm just looking at this Clippers defense and all these soft switches they keep giving up. Why are they doing that?
Well, that's now you see why the Mavericks are running the same play down the floor every time, because the Clippers are just willingly switching everything. So Luka's going to go, where's Pat Beverly's guy? Or where's Reggie Jackson's guy? Okay, come over here and set me a pick and roll. When Luka hit that three at the beginning of the fourth quarter, Kawhi Leonard, this is the miscommunication that happens on this Clippers team right now, and when Ivica Zubac came off the court. That Kawhi not only didn't fight through the screen, which he has been notorious for doing in the past. He doesn't love getting through screens. He not only didn't get through the screen, he went under it. And he went under and almost tripped over Zubac's feet, which left Luka Doncic more wide open than he has ever been in his entire life, and he drains the three, timeout. So it's just their philosophy. Like, is Kawhi not communicating? Or is there something that has been preset in the huddle in which we're switching everything? But if you're switching everything, then why did Kawhi go into drop coverage like that? Everything that they do has multiple question marks from what I saw. And the pick and roll defense is gashing them to death because they don't have any big guys. If they get through the pick and roll, how are you supposed to contest anything at the rim?
Is this Ty Lue's championship defense? Is this what's going on? There's no way they're getting through this series, right? If this keeps happening.
There's no way they're getting through this series if this keeps happening is correct. Ty Lue is a championship coach, and he's got guys on that bench. Again, he's got 6 assistant coaches. It's not just Ty Lue. It is an entire group of guys who sit in a room and come up with schematics and different philosophies and X's and O's, and they sit in there and they tell the team what they're going to do. So, of course, Ty Lue is going to catch the heat for that because he's ultimately in charge. But I don't know what else they need to see to do a complete overhaul in going into Game 3. So, if you're listening to this, you're probably saying, well, if you're so smart, what would you recommend? Well, you know what? I'm going to bring up the Nuggets versus the Jazz in the bubble last year. And when the Nuggets went down 3-1, Michael Malone caught a ludicrous amount of heat because he refused to change his pick and roll defense with Nikola Jokic, right? The Jazz would just go at him, take him 30 feet from the rim for 4 straight games, and the Nuggets would do nothing. They would just switch Jokic, and Mitchell would wave right by him like the Roadrunner saying goodbye to Wile E. Coyote. The Clippers don't have that time. But eventually, you know what Michael Malone did? He started blitzing it with Jokic, and they double teamed it, and they had someone like Jeremy Grant come over for the dumb pass over the top, so that all you could do was skip it to the corner. This Clipper team just lets you, 1, walk to the rim, 2, do the dump pass, 3, throw an alley-oop to somebody, and then if they completely collapse and they cheat, they just kick it out to Tim Hardaway Jr. or Dorian Finney-Smith, who knocks down the 3. There is no resistance whatsoever. So my recommendation to the Clippers is do that. Since Kawhi doesn't want to fight through the screens, blitz Luka at all costs. Blitz him and have a triangle defense standing around the paint that they can scramble to the three-point line in case there's a drive and kick. But if you blitz it, you will take away about 4 different scoring options for this Dallas Mavericks offense that is getting anything that they want. Make them make the extra pass and make someone other than Luka beat you. That's my piece.
Yeah, that makes sense. Or like at least throw some different looks at him. You know, it can't be the same coverage each time.
Amen, my friend. I wish I could be there in that huddle. Thank you for the call, sir. Who's up? Here's a Mavs fan. Let's get a Mavs fan in here. Heel Marco. Marco G.
Yep, that's me.
Yes, sir. What's good?
Wow, I'm trying to figure out why did you have the Clippers over the Mavericks? If the Mavericks had a very good second half of the season, one of the best records in the NBA.
Because I believed in this Clipper team after watching them this season. I saw a motivated Paul George that was fueled by a revenge narrative. I saw Ivica Zubac evolve into a true starting 5 on a championship team. That's offensive game and his ability to protect the rim. I thought could match up against any team. They had Batum on the perimeter. They had the evolution of Terrence Mann this regular season when Kawhi would sit out, when Paul George would sit out. Terrence Mann came in there and absolutely killed it all season. And I know they traded away SGA, but they have a young star on the rise that they were almost able to fill in that SGA role. They give you depth. Luke Kennard hasn't touched the floor in this series. Luke Kennard was like the best three-point shooter on this damn team all year. They have depth. You figure they have defense when you have 2 of the best on-ball defenders in the entire world on the same team in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. And it's just not translating to playoff basketball right now. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, I wish I would have changed that pick. But I watched a team that I thought was built for the playoffs and had the motivation to make sure they did everything right, which they did. They got the 4 seed. They load managed. Everyone was pretty much healthy. They got Boogie. They got Rondo in that locker room. They got Doc Rivers out of there. They supposedly didn't like Doc Rivers. Everything. They checked every box on paper. That's why they play the game. That's my answer.
I understand. All right. Well, that was my question. How much to say, but thanks.
You got it, dude. Thank you. For those of you that get selected, one quick note, because I'm taking the phone and I have it next to the microphone, please just make sure you're talking like near your phone, your speaker. Just some of you are a little quiet, and I want to make sure you're heard. That's all. And we're only talking about these games tonight, by the way. Joshua, what's good?
Rob, how are you, sir?
I sound a little frustrated tonight. I got a complaint about my energy the other night. Well, how's my energy tonight, okay? Because
I was actually going to say I'm loving the energy, man. I'm loving it.
it's real tonight because I'm pissed off, but please.
Yes, sir. I'm with you. It's been a mess for a Laker fan over here. These last 2 games have been a roller coaster, but I just wanted to come and maybe just ask you about what's going on. I'm just not seeing a lot from this Laker bench. And I know we're based around our superstars and stuff like that, but it's tough to grind out these wins when we're getting outscored by Cameron Payne for our whole bench combined. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
So the bench for the Lakers tonight scores 10, 12, 13 total points between
13.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They played 11 guys tonight. And they scored.
Let's not forget about KCP's goose egg as well.
Correct. So 13 total points from a collective 40, 60, 59, 53. Let's call it 63 total minutes. They scored 13 points.
Yeah.
That's a problem. I mean, of course that's a problem.
It's a
But
mess.
the Lakers did build a lead, a 15-point lead, when they took LeBron out there in the third quarter,
Yeah.
and they gave it up. Kuzma,
Yeah.
Kuzma got a pass after the first game. He stunk in that first game, and you
Yes.
figure this is kind of the roller coaster that is Kyle Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
But he's on this team for one reason, and that's to be the third wheel of offense when either Anthony Davis or LeBron James go to the bench for their rest. LeBron only played 39 minutes, which means he didn't play 9. So when he's not out on the floor, Davis usually is, but Davis needs help too. And you need someone that can initiate the offense. Sometimes that's Schroeder, sometimes that's Kuzma. We now have 2 stinkers from Kuzma in which he is just not involved. He only took 4 shots. It's not like he was going all Nick Young on us, 1 for 11 or some shit, taking bad shots. But he needs to be more involved. And that bench can't blow leads. The Phoenix bench is always going to show up. They are they are the Lost Boys from the movie Hook. You have Campaign, and Kaminsky didn't play tonight, but you have Campaign, Torrey Craig, Saric, and Cam Johnson is the young guy coming off the bench, but they have waiver wire fodder of many teams. And they come out there. You can't let them beat you. Not those guys.
Yeah. See, Cameron Payne's becoming the new Patrick Beverly in my eyes when it comes to how annoying this guy is.
That's a lot of credit. But I mean,
I gotta give it to him. He gets in people's heads, and he's a fiery son of a gun. And he has one of the worst shooting motions I've seen in a long time. But he brings that energy. 19 points off the bench.
It's starting. It feels like it gets more exaggerated by the game that Cam Payne is evolving into a left-handed Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, but he keeps like turning more and more the way Lonzo used to be turned to the left when he was shooting or some shit. Like it's working for Cam Payne. If it's working, like Sean Marion, no one ever said let's fix your jump shot. Okay,
Exactly.
Tyrese Halliburton, no one's saying let's fix your jump shot. So it works for the man. And he needs to be on the floor if Chris Paul's hurt, because Chris Paul is just non-existent tonight, guys. 23 minutes and only 5 field goal attempts, a paltry 5 assists, and just not involved whatsoever. He can be a decoy, he can give you some defense, but he's not even reaching with his right hand because he can't lift it. Y'all see how he couldn't even take off his warm-up before tip-off? He had to get help to take off his warm-up. Granted, he was almost statistically the best player of the starters in terms of that plus minus, but we're watching this and he brings nothing. Nothing. He is a wounded duck. And Cam Payne led the charge back when the Lakers went up by 15. So I can't believe I'm saying this, but the focus is going to have to be on Cam Payne with that bench team. Put Caruso on him and just negate him.
Exactly. And one last thing, I just wanted to say regarding the KCP situation, it might be a goose egg, but I think I'm almost positive he was the highest plus minus for the whole game with 0 points. So that defense seems to have been showing, and he's just a glue guy. It seems like if he's playing good D, he's definitely a weapon.
That's another reason why LeBron is in his ear. You're correct. The man, this is the fascination of the plus minus box score that so many people on Twitter, NBA Twitter, like to use to justify their arguments, because you have a man in KCP that has quite literally 0 points, but he has a game high of both teams combined a plus 19. So how does that happen? And you see why LeBron is in his ear, because, dude, you're really helping us. We need you. And if you get the ball, shoot it. I don't care if you're not shooting well. We need you on the court, and we need you to do what you do, because it's clearly working. The shooting may not be working, but everything else KCP did, he played 31 minutes. That's a lot of minutes for a man to not score and still win the game.
Yep. Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate you.
You got it, Josh.
You do some great work, my man. Yes, sir.
See you, Josh. Thank you. Who's out there? I don't see a whole lot of people waving at me. There's somebody named Luca Dumbthick. That's funny. Hold on, I see someone here with a Clippers name. Keeps bouncing around too much. Clippers. There's 127 of you that are requesting a loan. Give me a second here to scroll through. I just lost the Clippers guy, I think. There he is. This is very frustrating for me because it bounces around when I try and pick people. And then I lose them and I gotta scroll. But I found you. Clipper Chuck. Clipper Chuck. I imagine Clipper Chuck is not feeling too good right now. Let's find out.
Hey, what's going on, Wop?
Well, Chuck, talk to me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, being a Clipper fan for 20 years, I'm not too down. This is pretty par for the course. But
not like this, though.
To,
not like this, man.
Just a little extra. I just wanted to ask you. You covered actually a lot of it, kind of in your opening piece about what they were doing on defense. I just wanted to see what you thought about how they played game one defensively. Like, I didn't think they played terrible from a process standpoint. And today just kind of reminded me of what happened later in the Mavs series last year and later in the Denver series when they would just kind of start getting a little more trying to trap Luka or switch on Luka and all this shit's going on around him. He's kicking it out to the three, and they're hitting way more shots than they would if we just kind of played them a little bit more straight up. So what do you think about that from game one to game two? I thought Ty over-adjusted today.
I would say the over-adjustment is a fair assessment because he just went with this super crazy small lineup and figured, let's try and outscore this team. And I don't know how anyone that's watched the Mavericks play this year thinks that's a good idea. Your question was about game one to game two. And of course, the Mavericks only scored 113 points in comparison to what they did today. But Luka Doncic got up 24 shots in that game. How many, let's see, how many did he get up tonight? Luka finished with...
I think he had 29.
29 and 24. Mm-hmm. You can't let him shoot that many times. That means the ball's in his hands. I bet his usage percentage tonight, I don't have it in front of me, but I bet it's north of 32.
Right.
You can't just let him be involved. Take the ball out of his hands and make somebody else beat you. They have plenty of firepower, and they'll be happy to do it because they're like, we have Hardaway Jr., we have Porzingis, we have Brunson. They got a shit ton of offense. We know this.
Right.
We know this, but by going small is the absolute last thing, no matter who's on my team, that I would ever do against the Mets. You're doing them a favor. Right. You're allowing Porzingis to just stand on the perimeter and just do what he does best, which is shoot threes. He doesn't want to get involved in the trenches.
Right.
I want to put it.
Like, looking at the shot profile between the two games, a lot of Luka's shots in the first game were shots that theoretically you'd want to have him live with, but I mean, through two games, you don't want to roll those dice anymore. But this game was so much worse just because he was getting to the rim every time. And
granted, he hit a rainbow, which went over the television over Kawhi, but what happened to Ty Lue when he said, you guys are going to get what you expect? That interview in which he was referring to Kawhi Leonard's going to guard Luka. Other than that one play in which he torched him, it didn't feel like Kawhi was unleashed on him. What happened to the Kawhi Leonard that picks up 90 feet and just eliminates the other player? What happened to the Kawhi Leonard in which LeBron looks behind him and he sees him check it in and he says, fuck? What happened to... Why is he not face guarding Luka Doncic? It's Kawhi. It's Kawhi.
Uh-huh.
It's driving me nuts.
That's who it's on. I mean, if it's him who's saying he doesn't want to do it because he wants to have...
I'm over Paul George's defense, man. I'm over Paul George's defense, even though he's still one of the best on-ball defenders, positions 1 through 5 in the league. When you have Kawhi, that is a nuclear weapon on the defensive side. If I would grab that man by the collar and say, don't ever let Luka touch the ball. And if he does, don't let him shoot. I don't care what happens. It's fucking Kawhi. It's the T-1000 from Terminator 2 that you have. And why is he not face guarding that man from this point forward for the rest of the series? Anything other than that is unacceptable. And if I hear from Ty Lue that his reason was because we want to save Kawhi for the offensive side, well, you have 4 other small ball guys out there that are supposed to do the offense for you.
Right.
Let him burn out on defense. Why do you have Paul George there?
I think that's the formula. You got to have Kawhi put his
they still
and figure it out on the offensive side because they can beat him offensively. I mean, we've seen them all year. You know what I mean? Spraying the ball, getting the ball around. They can beat him. If Kawhi won't get his numbers if he's doing this defensively, but I think that's the formula going forward. You
Yeah.
can't have him. You have fucking Reggie Jackson on the floor. You can't have Pat Bev guard him. You can't have Marcus Morris trying to pick him up full court.
Team high 26 points in game 1 for Kawhi Leonard. Team high 41 points for Kawhi Leonard in game 2. That doesn't matter. You're not going to score enough points if you're trying to go punch for punch with Luka Doncic in the Dallas Mavericks. I want him. You have 2 games. They still need to win 2 games. That's why this series is not over. Granted, they got home court back. They're going back to Dallas. It's going to be ruckus. Okay?
It's going to be tough.
They still have to win 2 games against this Clipper squad. And if I unleash Kawhi on the defensive side and just put him in overdrive, anybody, including Luka Doncic, any human on this planet should be negated from the game of basketball. Give those shots to Paul George on offense. Paul George can handle it. Give those shots to Marcus Morris if he's burned out. I want him on empty, his tank on empty, inside the shirt, like that roach from the movie The Mummy that gets under the skin and makes the dude run into the wall. That's what I want Kawhi to do to Luka Doncic. Get rid of him. He can do that. Because right now, Luka doesn't feel like that whatsoever.
Not at all.
He's like, Kawhi's maybe going to be on me 1 out of every 5 times. So I'm not thinking about it twice. But the same way offensive players look over their shoulder for where's Rudy Gobert when they're playing the Jazz because I'm worried about him blocking my shot, that type of intimidation needs to enter the mind of Luka Doncic that Kawhi Leonard is in uh-oh mode, and now he's guarding me. He's not feeling that right now.
Absolutely. That's the formula going forward. He's got to do it down 2.
It's infuriating. The Clippers win game 3. It's a completely different series. They'll be back. It's game on again. But to win game 3, that needs to be not only a statement game, obviously, which requires a W. It needs to be a statement game for Kawhi Leonard to remind everyone that when I care and I'm engaged and I turn it on, that I am that guy that everyone said might take over LeBron James as the best basketball player on earth. Remember those days? Remember we were having that conversation after 2019? I haven't seen that since.
Look like it right now.
I haven't seen anything close to that since. And it's still in there. But he's got to show it to us. It's time for him to prove he's that guy.
Absolutely, I agree.
Thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, thanks for taking.
Boy, Clippers, man, drive me fucking nuts. I'm not even a Clipper fan. I just feel, I feel like a Clipper fan having to defend them. I know what I saw this season. I'm not crazy. This team is good. And they match up perfectly with Dallas. That home court was like, felt like I was watching a Atlantic 10. What a pathetic fucking home court that was tonight. Watching an Atlantic 10 game, Atlantic 10 play-in tournament game on a Tuesday night. What the fuck? Of course Dallas isn't going to be intimidated. Y'all see Phoenix? Y'all see New York? Denver had 5,000 fans. That's it. 5. The least amount possible in the NBA right now. Place was rocking. I haven't heard shit. God damn. Help them out. Let's go to Maxins. Who quit?
Can you hear me?
I can. Your profile says I have French bars for you, Wob.
Yeah, I'm in France right now, so it's like 8 in the morning. Thanks for having me. Anyway.
Oh, good. Did you stay up for those games?
No, I woke up to watch the second half because I have some exams today. So.
Fair enough.
You know.
Fair enough.
My question is I don't know why Ty Lue is so obstinated on staying on small ball. I know you mentioned it already, but KP isn't playing like a big, and Zubac in the first game handled it really well, and I don't know why Zubac had so many minutes. So I don't know why all those tall guys, they're just sitting on the bench all the time, and I think it's like pride, and like the Clippers want to prove that they're better at that type of game, and every time the Clippers have too much pride, they get basically left, in the wind. So,
Yeah.
I mean, no, the question is just like, is it okay for like a small ball built team to change to like a more classical approach? If you look at the Clippers, if like the Mavericks are doing small ball better.
That's a good question. It's the fire versus ice argument, and who wins? Does it melt or does the ice overcome and freeze the fire? And at least what I know from this Clippers team is if I put at least Ibaka out there, whether Porzingis is on the floor or not, then I'm not worried about Luka Doncic just walking past that pick and roll to the rim without some sort of Ibaka can at least contest it a little bit. Compare who else was down? Marcus Morris Sr.? He's not contesting shit. Reggie Jackson's not contesting anything. Pat Beverly was the only one, and he's like 6 feet tall. But if you have Ibaka down there, at the very least, it may put some resistance on what happens after they penetrate from the three-point line. And to counter the small ball, they clearly can't win small ball against the Mavericks. They simply have too much offense, regardless of who's on paper.
That sounds insane.
It is. On paper, it's insane.
It sounds insane.
But it's the truth now.
I think like something that they could do, and they're probably going to do it in Game 3, is they're going to foul the shit out of Luka, and they're gonna do like the Marcus Morris step on your ankle when you're going through rebounds, because like Luka was pretty terrible at the free throw line. Like most of the Mavs in the first half were like horrible, and I think they're gonna foul the shit out of Luka in the third game. Sorry.
Yeah, he was like 2 of 5 there before he made those final 2, I think. He's never been a great free throw shooter, but of course, you have to change that man's mindset right now because he's over there giggling, laughing, doing Luka things on you. He's taunting Patrick Beverly all the way down the floor. He's barking in their face that they're too small. He has zero fear. And also, this is a man now, but when he was a kid, he was playing in EuroLeague finals, like you probably know about, with Madrid. So nothing is ever going to intimidate him. He was bored in this type of basketball atmosphere. You got to do something to change the tide.
Yeah, it was too fun. I mean, but like, if you looked at the post game interviews, that's what Reggie Jackson was saying. He was saying we need to find a way to cut the head off the snake, and I think I feel like they're going to be really dirty because that's how they were last year. And like, I don't want to see it, but I think that may be one of their best options, to be honest.
Well, why?
But I'll leave you to ask questions to the other guys. And if we win on Friday, and I manage to get picked again, I will get you some French bars. I will get some French bars, like for sure.
Much appreciated, my friend. Thanks for the call.
Thank you for the work. You're really doing some great stuff, man.
Thank you. Good luck on your exams. So, can I ask the question then, based on his feedback? Why else is Rajon Rondo on this team? Why is DeMarcus Cousins on this team? They don't need to go out there and be goons. They don't need to go out there with baseball bats and break kneecaps. But aren't these the two guys that you brought in here to change that type of mindset and culture and everyone just runs over the Clippers? They sure talk a lot, but they don't act like... Isn't that why they're here? Have Rondo go out there and put Luka on his back. Rondo has proven to be one of the best irritants of all time. And it may require one of his moments in which he does Rondo things to get this team a win. All the applause that I gave that, remember Dylan, I was gassing up Dylan Brooks the other night. You have to have a guy like that on your squad that's willing to do the dirty work, to be the villain, to be the guy that the fan base is calling in death threats about because they're so pissed off about him. Who on this Clippers team is that guy? I thought it was supposed to be Pat Beverly. I thought it was supposed to be Marcus Morris Sr. I'm going to challenge Rondo to be that guy. Go out there and make a statement. Do something. Like flagrant fouls are against the rules, but they're technically, you do a flagrant foul 1, it's within the rule book. You could stay on the floor. You give up 2 free throws on the ball. Again, I don't want anybody to get hurt. But this is a physical game, and Luka has no fear whatsoever of anything ever happening to him right now. And it may just piss him off more. Because he's probably had that happen to him when he was a teenager. I bet there were some grown-ass adults on those Spanish teams in the EuroLeague that were like, yo, go foul that kid. Yo, go get that kid out of the game. Go bark at that kid. He's used to it. But they didn't trade Lou Williams and all that scoring for a Rondo that doesn't make an impact on the game in a Rondo way. It was supposed to be for the locker room. It was supposed to be for team chemistry. It was supposed to be for these type of moments in which he needs to get under somebody's skin. Pat Beverly is just food at this point. He's an appetizer. He's done. Luka will never fear him now. Rondo? He got 2 games to figure it out. Sosa. Welcome in, Sosa. How are you?
Hello.
What up, man? You there?
You can hear
Kinda. Your connection
me,
is...
man?
Connection's in and out. I'll give you a second. Going once. Going twice. Get
Hey,
you...
can you hear me?
I kind of can now. I'll give you one more... Get your question off, and I'll be happy to answer. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right. A lot of you out there. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I just hit a button there. Damn. Somebody's in Alaska. I know who this is going to be. Tebow. What up, Tebow? Unmute your mic, my friend, and you can unleash hell.
I'm back.
All right, let's hear it.
First of all, I tried to log in, connect with you the other day. First of all, I want to apologize to the Warrior fans. They're scrappy as hell. They're tough, and unfortunately, Steph is going to leave them and come to the Lake Show, but that's okay. But as for the Lakers, man, we are in for a dogfight because the Suns team is not going away. I want to say Lakers in 5, but this shit might go to 7. And we might split it back in LA, but that's not why I'm here. Well, you know why I'm here. Fuck the Clippers. Oh my God.
So, Tebow, you're just to introduce you, everyone that just look at Tebow's profile header by clicking on his name. Should be everything you need to know about this Laker fan right here. So please, the Clippers deserve it. If you want to get your takes off right now, now would be the time before they play Game 3.
There's StatMuse just tweeted out a what do you call it? Something about the Ty Lue. Ty Lue hasn't won a playoff game since LeBron left. Like, I don't know what the problem is. I want to say it's Paul George, it's leadership. I don't know where the problem within that franchise is. You can't leave Zubac on the floor for that long. That's just terrible coaching. You see the difference between
On the bench. On the bench, you mean?
On the bench. No. He was in the game for too long.
Oh, okay.
Luka was cooking his ass.
Yeah.
You can't leave that guy in the game for too long. That is the difference between championship coaching from Vogel. What's his name? Trez didn't see the floor tonight. And he's out here tweeting, liking tweets about, oh, I'm not getting any minutes. I could give a fuck about your minutes as long as we win. That is the difference between championship coaching and fraudulent coaching. Ty Lue is the reason, LeBron is the reason Ty Lue has a job right now. That team is fraudulent. They're frauds.
Okay, so do you remember when Ty Lue was on the verge of becoming the Lakers head coach? You remember those days?
Yep.
What would have happened if that happened? Because granted, LeBron was there.
He would have won a chip. That's what would have happened.
Right.
Because LeBron was the one doing the coaching in Cleveland, not Ty Lue. Ty Lue was just a poster boy as the coach. LeBron is the coach. We all know this. LeBron fans know this.
Yeah.
Ty Lue would just come into LA for a fucking parade. That's it. And he settled for the Clippers.
Well, I gotta give Ty Lue some credit just because.
No, for what? What has he done?
Managing egos.
No, I can't give him any credit for what he's done with that team. I can't give him any credit.
He came back from 3-1. I know LeBron's the majority of it, but they came back from 3-1. He's got Kyrie, Kevin Love, and LeBron, who are three volatile personalities, to say the least. And he was able to prove that we can get the locker room together here. And managing players that good is sometimes a skill in itself. And you figure by bringing him in here to the Clippers that we have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. We have two perennial superstars. And we need you to manage this relationship so that they can do their thing, that they can be the guys that they're supposed to be. And he is not extracting that out of them at this very moment.
You got to understand, him and LeBron are boys. They're on the same page with this. But fair enough, all that aside, do you think they're coming back from down 2-0, going back to Dallas?
I'm sticking with them. I mean, I picked them to win the damn championship, Tebow, so I got to stick.
What is making you stick with them? What is your reason? What have they proved to you? They have the best offense this whole year, and what were they ranked on defense? They have the best offense all year. They're at home. You're supposed to at least win one game. You can't get swept at home. You wanted Dallas. You wanted them. Whatever you tanked the last two games of the season, you rested, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You chose not to play your starters the last two games. You wanted Dallas. Luka took that personally. And now you fucking shit the bed.
They did. They have so far, but they still have to play this game. So I'm going to keep my trust in the Clippers and that they're the team that I thought they were and that they will come out with the proper adjustments. I have to go down with the ship. I can't turn on them now. I have them winning the championship.
Proper adjustments? Where was that game too?
Yeah, I'm struggling here, okay, to find some. But they tried something tonight that didn't work. And the only blessing in disguise is that they found out in one game. They ripped the Band-Aid off on this one. That small ball, not going to work. Okay, so they're not going to try that in Game 3 again. Reggie Jackson will not be out there for 30 minutes. I think they learned that in these two games at home. So maybe they'll just swing for the fences and try something completely different in Game 3. I don't know what it is at this point because I was promised...
Kawhi scored 40 points and they lost. How does that happen? These are supposed to be two of the best two-way players in the NBA, and you can't stop a white boy from Slovenia. How does this... Where's he from? I don't even care. He cooked their asses. How does this happen? The two best defensive wing players since Pippen and Jordan, and you let two white boys come to your crib and give you that work. Damn. Oh, man. They're going to blow this shit up after the season. I'm sorry.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. They traded everything to get this team together.
Kawhi can't stay. He could have came to the Lakers. We would have ran this shit for a three-peat. But no, this dude went to the Clippers to make videos about keychains, and this is my city now. I run LA. Like, come on, man.
That was the worst part. That was the worst part. That the first thing you did when you showed up is went on the campaign that said, "This is my city," before y'all even won anything.
And they came out with all these posters Given what were they? Win. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. All the billboards before the season was even over. We over me, spotlights over streetlights. Like, come on, man. Clippers about to get swept. Paul George is going to be the reason. He's going to be scapegoated again. Pandemic P, plastic P, playoff pussy, everything. It's over, man. It's over. I feel bad for Kawhi. That dude could have came to the Lakers, would have ran the table.
That's probably true. That's actually true. He could have went to the Lakers and just won a championship 4 straight years.
I don't know what point he was trying to prove, but somewhere next week, Uncle Dennis is going to be on the beach in Maui talking about, I told y'all, taking the private jet that he tried to swingle Genie Bus out of.
I don't know what to say. I mean, all of these are true. I can't come back and say anything right now because I have no bullets left in the chamber.
Who's going to get scapegoated, Ty Lue or Paul George?
I don't know. If they get swept, oh my God, if they get swept, I don't know how Paul George escapes it. Like, I was his biggest defender this year because I know how good he was. I know how much different he looked, okay? And people are going to try and throw his, like, box score stats at me tonight or something in some advanced analytic, or that he dropped Porzingis. And I watched the game tonight, and he just wasn't, and he wasn't a star. He was a decent part of the rotation tonight. And he's not there to just be a decent part of the rotation. They need him the same way the Lakers need to fall on AD and LeBron when shit's hitting the fan and the Suns come back to tie that game. You never felt for a second tonight that the Lakers were going to lose that game. No. And it was because AD was engaged and LeBron was like, all right, it's time for me to end this. I've never seen that once from the Clippers, in which one of those two guys just says enough and puts his foot down.
You know what the ego problem with Kawhi and PG? They think they're number one option. They think they're top dog. They're the creme of the la creme. They're actually number 2 options. You can't have Kawhi and PG on a team and your coach and organization treating them like the number 1 options. Those 2 players, they're Robins. They don't have a Batman on that team. They're treating Kawhi as a Batman, but Kawhi actually is a Robin.
Was he not Batman in 2019 though? On Toronto?
Toronto?
Yeah,
no,
come on.
That was Kyle Lowry's team. That was Lowry's team.
Regardless, even if he was a Batman on that team, Tebow, he's not the Batman right now.
No, they're treating him like a Batman, but he's really a Robin, though. Rob is what I'm saying. Kawhi and Paul George are number 2 options. There's no top dog on that team. Why is Rondo there? Leadership. How many minutes did he play tonight? Why is Cousins there? Leadership. Tough dogs. Big dogs. They didn't do anything. This whole team, the way they orchestrated it, it's just bad. It's flawed. They don't have a good post player. The reason why the Lakers are that good is because they can put AD and LeBron in a post, go to work. They can't do that with Kawhi. They can't do that with Paul George. That's why that whole offense, they're just a jump shot shooting team. And you go cold in the playoffs. Teams know what you're trying to do. You don't think teams don't know what the Lakers are trying to do? Get AD in the post and try and beat them. No, but they can't stop it. The Clippers don't have a good post player. Those 2 guys are B plus players. There's no A plus player on that team. There's no good post player. The only good post player they have is on the bench, which is Cousins. That's it. That's why they're probably going to get swept, and they're going to have to blow this up in the offseason. And they're going to scapegoat George again. He hasn't won a playoff series since he was in Indiana.
I wanna argue with you, but I just have no like soldiers.
They've promised.
I'm an exiled king right now.
They promised Clipper fans when they came, gonna take you guys to the promised land. They ain't done shit. They ain't done shit. I actually feel bad for Clipper fans. I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually feel bad for them. They made so many promises. Their stupid little introduction meet at the back of a high school. Like, I feel bad for Clipper fans. Another season can't get out of round 2. They can't get out of round 1. I'm promising you right now, the Mavs are going to sweep them. I will come on here and apologize if the Clippers win Game 3. I will come in here and apologize if they win Game 3.
Okay.
But they won't.
Bet.
Because I don't think Dallas is going to let them win Game 3 or 4.
We have a deal. If the Clippers, I think the Clippers win Game 3, you're going to come back in here and apologize because I'm going down with the ship.
The same way I apologize to Warrior fans at the start of this, I will apologize to Clipper fans.
Fair enough. We will speak soon, my friend.
Yes, sir. Good night.
And that didn't help my confidence, but Clippers are going to win Game 3. I just have to double down. Clippers are going to win Game 3. Clippers are going to win Game 3. It's going to be 2-1. All the pressure in the world is going to be on the Mavs to win that Game 4. They will not roll over and die. They can't. They can't. They can't do it. They can't. They really can't do it. Not again. Not again. I can't let Tebow win. Anyways, moving on. Josh, welcome in, my friend.
What's going on, Wob?
Well, I just took shells in the trench from Tebow for a good 15 minutes, so I'm a little shook right now, but please, change the topic or something. What do you want to talk about?
So, I really, really wanted to, change it so bad, but I have nothing invested in the Lakers-Phoenix game. So, that's a great series. I had Lakers winning. They're going to win. But, listen, I'm a diehard Mavericks fan, and after last year and, KP going down and, he's honestly always down, but him coming back and, just the way things are going, dude, even if the Clippers do win the series, this can't be, it can't give you confidence that they're going to win the whole championship.
Well, it would certainly build some character if they lose their first 2 games at home and they come back to win this series. That would build some crazy character, wouldn't it? And you would see them moving forward as they finally are able to overcome that whole Clippers reputation. Because the Clippers of past are going to roll over and die in Game 3. But if they find a way to win that game and somehow find a way to win this series. You know what's funny, by the way, is they were still at FanDuel Sportsbook. They were still coming into tonight's game minus 180 to win this series. I don't have it's updated here, but I imagine it's still they're going to be short underdogs. Still. There's a reason why. There's a reason why, and it's because of how talented the damn team is. But talent clearly is only going to take them so far.
There's so many adjustments that I don't see why Luke doesn't make them.
Such as what?
Why would he not start Rondo? Why are you starting, what did he? I don't know if he started tonight. I didn't catch the very beginning, but, he had Reggie Jackson up front. Why? He probably started Beverly tonight. Beverly, he's like food, bro. Luka loves Beverly.
Yeah, and Beverly still had some nice moments on defense tonight, but his mere presence on the court is igniting Luka. He sees red. He sees red when he's on the court.
Right. And I watched him. I just watched Luka cook him. Even Kawhi, the PNRs, he doesn't fly. He just dies on all the screens. I watched it live. Was waiting on you to tweet the highlight, like always. Saw it and dude, he's freaking cooking him. Even if say they get past the Mavericks and they run into Utah, they probably would hope for Memphis, even if they did. But they run into Utah. That looks deep. And then Lakers conference, I don't know, dude. If they get swept, that's bad, Wob. That is bad.
It's still a long way from getting swept. It's still 2 games away.
That's true.
We're going to learn everything that we need to know about this Clippers franchise and this Clippers team and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi still has the titles, okay? Kawhi is a finals MVP. multiple times. You can't take that shit away from him. But his reputation will take a hit regardless of what he has accomplished in the past if they get swept in the first round. Because he is supposed to be the second coming of LeBron. He was supposed to be the best player in the NBA after that 2019. We were talking about it, but I think anyone that objectively watches the game of basketball can agree that after that, you could see the path there.
Right.
And all that's happened since then is disappointment. And we're headed there again. But I'm going to pump the brakes because a player that I believe in, such as him, granted, he may not be the leader we all thought he was. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not in the locker room. But if what is said about him is true, and he allows his team to get swept, then yeah, I think we need to pivot the narrative on him. But if he's the player I think he is, then that player will go down 2-0 or 0-2 and win the series. LeBron goes down 3-1 in the finals to the best team of all time, wins that series. You want to be a LeBron? Go win this series. LeBron would win this series in 2016. Go win the series. Just, I don't care how you get it done. Just do it.
2 more points, like, it's obviously been, like, well documented, like, Luka's success and, like, what he's capable of and, you know, this and that. But what do you think it says about him if they, like, well, not to say sweep him, but just win this series? Like, is that another notch in his belt? Do you think he's top 5 if he does?
Well, I got to say that Luka Doncic has now played 8 total. Is it 8 total playoff games in his career? And every single one of them has been against the Clippers, which have been arguably the best on paper team in the league, regardless of how they play. And he has gone out there, and every single game has been an absolute banger. He has not had one bad game in the playoffs. So we're trying to talk about how Kawhi is the guy in the playoffs for all those years on the Spurs and the Raptors, in which when the playoffs come around, that's the guy. Maybe Luka is the guy. Regardless of what happens during the regular season, we maybe start looking at him the same way we looked at Chauncey Billups and Robert Horry. We're certainly not there yet. Those were champions, and Luka has to win a championship to fall into that bucket of clutchness. But in the very small sample size at the very beginning of his career, how can you not have aspirations like that in being one of the most clutch playoff performers who just refuses to put up anything but a freaking 40, 10, and 5 line every single night?
That's what I'm saying. It's just crazy. And, like, also another thing, like, Hardaway, do you think he gets, like, the fucking bag or what?
He's going to get a bag now. You better believe it's going to happen now. The way he's playing in these playoffs, how important. He's going to get it from the Mavericks, too. Because the Mavericks, one, are probably going to have difficulty getting anyone in free agency that can do what he does. The only other guy out there, a Gary Trent Jr., you know what I mean? You're going to pay all that money for Gary Trent, but not Tim Hardaway Jr., and you know what he gives you already on this team and how perfect of a compliment he is. So, yeah, he's going to get paid the max that they're willing to pay him. You better believe Mark Cuban's willing to pay whatever it takes to get a championship team back on the floor. So I don't think money or luxury tax is going to be an issue if it gets there. I don't know what their cap situation is, but Hardaway is someone that makes you pay. So when you send the double team at Luka, when you take Porzingis out of the play, when it comes down to somebody lobbing over the top, it has been Tim Hardaway Jr. at the other end. And on those days in which Luka was out during the regular season and Porzingis was out, and there were multiple of them, it was Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr. that scratched several wins, and they proved they can handle the load of running an offense, whether those guys are on the floor or not, which means they can thrive being the initiator and the creator if they're needed. They have the talent, or they can just be the catch and shoot that spaces the floor. It's rare to find someone that fits in and is willing to fit in, because everyone's got an ego, man. Everybody's got an ego. They think they're the best players on the floor. Even the 15th man on the bench thinks he's the best player on the floor at all times. That's how you get to the NBA. But for Hardaway Jr. to always kind of just be this chameleon that blends into the Mavericks offense is something that's going to be tough to put a price on. It's invaluable.
Amazing, man. As a Mavs fan, our spirits are, really high right now. I hope that your Clippers don't flame out. They can't be going out. I don't know why you bet them to win the championship.
It's easy to say now, isn't it?
Even beforehand, though, I don't know, man. They They didn't change much from last year. But hey, the series isn't over.
It's not. We'll see in Game 3. This may be a completely different conversation in Game 3. Y'all have the advantage. According to FanDuel Sportsbook, the Mavericks are now minus 290 to win the series, which, let's be honest, with 2-0 lead and home court advantage, is not a big number. Means if you bet $290, you win 100. And you got a 2-0 lead. Why is that? Why is that so short? I don't know. We're going to find out pretty quick.
Thanks for talking about it.
You got it, Josh. Thank you. Micah? Mikias? I'll just go with Miki. I don't want to butcher your last name. We lose Miki? We lost Miki. Nope, maybe not. There she is. Just gotta unmute yourself, Miki. Almost there. Almost there. Unmute, 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 unmute. Going once. Just gotta unmute yourself. Going twice. Get you next time. Sorry, Miki. $2:46 a.m. and I'm way too pissed off to go to sleep. I'm sure there's some Clippers fans in here that are feeling the same kind of way. Chakis. Hello, Chakis. Chakis 007. Hello, sir. There you are. Nope.
Hi, Whoop.
Hey.
My first time about to talk on your show.
Welcome in. How are you? What part of the world are you calling from?
I'm calling from Cyprus, not Cyprus, to Turkey.
Turkey? Holy shit. Cyprus, Turkey.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I had to be awake to see this Clippers. Wake up this early to see this Clippers shit I just saw right now. I'm so angry.
Wait, let's paint the scenario here. What time was it when the game tipped off in Cyprus?
I think it was 5. 4:30. I had to set my alarm 4:30 in the morning.
Oh man.
My friends are gonna throw me.
That's an early wake up to watch that type of performance.
Oh, my biggest concern is why is the Clippers attack so stagnant? Why can't they just move the ball? It's always disintegrating to isos and hard contested shots. Okay, even if you want to play isolation, why don't you draw something up to put a mismatch and clear out the floor, something? But every Clippers shot is always so contested. And so I just don't know the attack. I just don't know, man. I've lost faith in Ty Lue.
I mean, just from watching the team in the regular season, they had multiple guys north of 40% from three-point land. And that doesn't happen because they just get blessed by God overnight. That happens because someone is creating open looks for them. And Marcus Morris Sr. and Luke Kennard had the best three-point shooting years of their careers.
I don't know why Luke Kennard is not in the rotation. Surely he can play better, even if Beverly gives better on the defensive end. But come on, Luke Kennard's offense can surely offset whatever Beverly is giving on both ends of the floor. I don't understand that either.
So there's two schools of thought here, Jack. It's the first of which is you watch the game tonight in which the Clippers go small ball. And they put out Rondo, Reggie Jackson, and Pat Beverly. What those three have in common is they are not 40% career 40% three-point shooters, to say the least. They may have had a 40-point season here or there, but if you're going to go small ball, I think Clippers fans are a little frustrated that why would you go with those three when you could have gone with Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, who have done it all season. Okay, they've proved that if you're going to go small ball, they can make you pay on both ends. And I understand the reasoning for doing Pat Bev and Rondo because they're playoff veterans. They give you defense, but that defense that they're supposed to bring you is not working. So,
Not working at all.
so that's
Not working at all.
plan number one is if you're for some reason going to continue small ball, why not include them as a part of your small ball mentality? And then your second part, which is to follow up to your question, it seems like the Clippers are stuck in mud and they dump the ball to their stars and it's just all sort of congested. Well, part one of my reasoning is just playoff basketball is played in the half court. So when the shot clock goes down to 6 or 7 seconds, like every other team out there, like you saw in the Laker game tonight, you pass it to your best player and you say, please save us, go get us a bucket. And you figure Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are good enough stars that if they get in isolation against someone that is not an elite defender, it is a mismatch which you are willing to live with all the time. Remember, this is the same Paul George that complained about all the pick and rolls being set for him under Doc Rivers and the pin downs and whatever. He wanted to be out in space and in isolation, right? That was his complaint and why him and Doc Rivers didn't get along. Well, that's happening right now. That's happening right now. You're getting your isolation and it's not really working. But Kawhi gives you
The shots are not falling. It's a disaster. The shots are not falling. I just looked at the box score now. I think Zubac had only 2 points or 4 points. How will your big have just that amount of points? Come on, we're supposed to be cooking them in the offensive glass, but nothing is going on. Kristaps Porzingis wasn't tortured enough for me. The way they were torturing Zubac and Pat Bev. Oh no. He gives his best, but I just don't see it anymore. Paul George to me is no longer a superstar. He's just a star. And the Clippers, I think that trade is going to come back to haunt us. He's not a superstar anymore. He's not the Paul George I saw from OKC that MVP season anymore. He just doesn't seem so sure of himself when to shoot or when to drive. Like there was a possession in that fourth quarter where he got the mismatch on him, Kristaps Porzingis. And the dude shot a step back to you like he was James Harden. Why don't you take him to the rim and at least get a foul and put him in foul trouble or something? Even the commentators were saying that, wow, Paul George, you have to drive on Porzingis there. You have to. And he didn't. I said he was not aggressive enough, certainly for jump shots when your shots are not falling.
Yeah, and there was a play in which you probably saw in which Paul George made a nice move. He got to the rim and he went up for a dunk and he just blew it. And he blew the dunk. And the first thing he did was he looked at the ref for a foul. And I'm like, oh my God, Paul George. I'm like, oh my God. It was like maybe he scratched you at the very most. And I'm just looking, I'm like, Paul, this is not. And this guy, like, of course, gets the rebound and scores at the other end while he's busy complaining. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go again. And like you figure because you have these two stars, of course, that if you think they're superstars, you dump the ball to them in the post and you let them go win the game for you. But if we're at the point now that we can't trust Paul George to do that anymore, I'm gonna ask Ty Lue to take a massive swing in Game 3 because what you have done so far with the game plan coming into the series isn't working. I don't know what that big swing is. Maybe it is playing man in Luke Kennard, those Reggie Jackson Rondo minutes. Maybe it's Rondo putting Luka on his back. Maybe it's putting Kawhi. Maybe it's putting Luka on Kawhi for 40 minutes, and he's just face guarding him the entire time. We go boxing one on Luka. I want to see.
Can I stop you a second over there? I've noticed something. Even Kawhi sometimes is always on Luka, but once the first set of screen, he just runs away. He doesn't try to fight over the screen or nothing. Once he just gets screened easily, it's just as if he was like, oh, thanks for bailing me out of guarding Luka. Kawhi is no more the aggressive defender we used to know. It's high time everybody just comes to terms with it. It's no more that defensive player of the year we used to know.
Yeah, I mentioned that that was during my rant to lead the show. Is the one thing I noticed most from Kawhi in these two games is he's just not fighting through the screens. He's had that reputation in the past, and he needs to stay with Luka. If he's got that assignment and they set that pick and roll, you got to find a way to get through. Otherwise, Luka's just going to take the mismatch to the rim, and Kawhi's not involved. I need to see Kawhi get through screens and just be the Kawhi that we all think he is on the defensive side. They have enough firepower on offense in which we don't need him to put up 30 shots a night and carry the team. That's why you have Paul George. That's why you spent all that luxury tax money on Luke Kennard. You have dudes who can fill it up. Even with trading away Lou Will, I'm willing to take half as many Kawhi shots if it means I know I'm going to get him on Luka for 40 minutes and he's going to bust his ass on that side of the court. Like, why not try at this point? Take a major swing at something and see if it works. Because if you lose anyway, the series is over. So you might as well go down emptying the clip and just say, we tried everything and it didn't work.
Oh. And the fact about my first point I made about them not moving the ball enough, I think it has now put down the morale of the other players like Morris, Batum. They are no more so sure of themselves because they are not touching the ball enough. They have not gotten into the rhythm ever since game one. That's what I personally think, because I just think the ball should move more. Cut back screens, some sort of Corey move to get Kawhi or PG free for a 3-pointer or something. Not just every time it has to be hard fought contested shots. Nothing, no ISO. No, they are not trying to take on Kristaps Porzingis enough. Every time that should be the pick and roll. Every time, and they choose the backup because the backup spaces the floor better, or Boogie. At least we know that they are going to be scared of his 3-point shooting a little bit. But Zubac is giving his best, but 4 points really in a playoff game, even if it's only for 20 minutes or so, come on, 4 points, he should be better than that. I think he should be. I think I heard when you were talking about Zubac, okay, maybe, but man, I think it's time. Ibaka might be rusty, but I think we should start Ibaka. Then Boogie should be the first big of the rotation. What do you think about that?
I'm open to anything at this point, man. I am open. I'm open to any ideas that is not what we saw tonight. Because even when the game was close, it never felt like the Clippers had a handle on anything. Every time down the floor, if the Clippers didn't give up 2 points on an easy layup or an open look, it felt like a goddamn miracle. So I'm open to it. If it's a pivot from anything we saw tonight, I want a full burn down and rebuild. And that's all I really got to say about that, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much, Will.
You got it, man.
Nice
Keep the faith, my friend.
Easy. All right.
Our first call from Cyprus, Turkey. See? This is why we do the show at now 3 a.m. Because we get people from all over the world. You know what we need to do? Twitch chat. Sorry, I haven't paid much attention to you guys. Twitch chat. We need to create a map, and put the little thumbtacks on a digital map in where everyone calls in from different parts around the world. Because we're up to like 15 different countries. We had Egypt, we had Iran, we have Australia multiple times. We got all over the place. We have the entire country of Uruguay calling in to talk about the Jazz. And tonight we have Cyprus. Would you look at that? Eric, sure. Saw you waving. Must mean you're there. Got something to say.
Yo, what's up, Rob?
Hanging out. What's up with you?
Not much. All right, so I got 3 questions for you. I haven't heard much. I got 2 Lakers questions, and then I haven't heard much about this, so I'm going to talk about the Celtics. Haven't heard a single question about the Celtics. So I know they're facing, like, the fucking Bermuda Triangle of offense with Kyrie, KD, and Harden. Gonna be tough to beat. But 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, we were talking about the Celtics. They were in a great position. They had all these draft picks. I know they have Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but did Danny Ainge screw the pooch? Is this the best product they can put out? Kemba was amazing on the Hornets, but now he seems like a second-tier player, and I just don't know where they go from here. I know they have 2 potential superstars in Tatum and Brown, but what do you see from them, and what do you see for their path in the future?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for bringing up Celtics Nets. You forget that game was played on this day with everything else that went on. I mean, you can't expect anything from these guys without Jalen on the team. I think we all knew that coming into the series, and now Tatum gets poked in the eye. Kemba's been really disappointing. I don't know how else to put it politely, but you signed him, you paid him all that money. He was supposed to take over for Kyrie and be the on-ball point guard that was drawing attention off of Tatum and Brown. He's clutch. We know what he's done throughout his career, and he just hasn't delivered. And he does it if he doesn't give you enough on the offensive side. We already know he's a liability on defense, just because, unfortunately, of his size. So if he's not performing, he's not only not a net zero, he's a net negative in that way. And also, when he shoots the ball and misses, that means that's times when either Jalen, when he's healthy, or Jason Tatum isn't shooting. So there's no, like, you don't, like, bench him to put Pritchard onto the court at this point. You don't have just enough talent. Nobody has enough talent to compete with that fucking Death Star in Brooklyn. This is just the worst matchup possible for the Celtics because they don't have any interior whatsoever. Tristan Thompson can go out there and yap all he wants about we're not intimidated by anybody. I'm sure I can guarantee they're thinking the same way. Like, Robert Williams has been probably the best player on the Boston Celtics this series. That's the one bright light here, is he's really showing out. His ability to protect the rim, his evolution as an interior anchor defender, as well as cleaning the glass on the offensive side and creating second chance opportunities. It feels very Tyson Chandler at the beginning of his career-esque. And he's super early in his campaign as a player. So that's the one positive I take away from the Celtics here is Robert Williams maybe is solidifying that starting center role, which we have traded away in Daniel Tyson and have been out there in the market trying to find from Horford to all these other different guys. Maybe he can be that. But in this very moment, the Celtics just simply don't have the talent. I don't know how else to put it. But since Horford left, Hayward left, Kyrie left, of course they have the big three when they're healthy, but let's be honest. Jalen maybe would make these games not a double-digit loss. He's good, but he's not that good. You know what I mean? It's just a terrible matchup against a team that is clearly more talented.
Right. It's almost like, God, how good is your outlook if your bright side is Robert Williams? I know he's been great, but Jesus.
I don't know what else to take away from these games, though. Yeah. Like, he's been the only thing that I would be happy about if I was a Celtics fan.
Yeah. Were you talking about Kemba? It's like, undersized guards has always been an interesting thought experiment for me because unless you're an otherworldly offensive talent like Kyrie, Curry, or Dame, you don't provide anything. It's a very risky thing to take, like the Cavs drafting Darius Garland and Sexton. You know, what are you going to do unless those guys are otherworldly offensive talents? They really can't provide much other than that.
So you would, any Celtics fans listening to this would agree because you witnessed what it took from Isaiah Thomas to be a net positive during the King of the Fourth campaign,
right,
during the playoffs. He was immortal. He put up 50 points a game, and half of those were in the fourth quarter. But as soon as he hit those ridiculous step backs and did whatever he did and had the place rocking, the first thing the opposing team did on the other side was switch hunt him and just go right at him. You're playing with four defenders when you have a little guy like that. Now, right. Kemba has to put up that type of offensive production to make up for what you're giving back on the other side. You expect Kemba to guard Kyrie in isolation? Or you're going to hide him on Bruce Brown? They're going to find you. They're going to slash Bruce. They're going to expose you every single time. And I alluded to this after game one. But when Kemba got caught on an island against Kyrie at the middle of the fourth quarter, they sent a double team to help Kemba. And they had to leave Kevin Durant open. Not Bruce Brown. Not DeAndre Jordan. Kevin Durant. They left Kevin Durant open to go help Kemba. How do you ever expect to win a title if you have that on the defensive side and not a cheat code on offense?
Yeah, I hate the Celtics, but God, I feel for them right now. It's tough. Yeah, so now on to the Lakers questions. 180 tonight. Monster. 21 free throws. I know you can say, oh, he was classic tropes, like he was more aggressive, he drove to the rim, but I heard a lot of chatter on Sunday, about how the floor was clogged because of Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond, main reason AD didn't have a successful night. He played 5 more minutes tonight than he did on Sunday. And AD had a way more productive night. Do you think it was just, specifically, what do you think maybe scheme-wise the Lakers did or what AD did specifically? Was it Gasol opening up the floor? He played 19 minutes. Was it just simply him being more aggressive? What did you see out of him in the Lakers scheme tonight to have him have such a successful night?
So there's two answers to this question. The first of which is all of us already know the answer to. We saw what Anthony Davis said after game 1. He said that loss is on me because if I'm not engaged, in his own words, he said, if I'm not Anthony Davis, then we're not going to repeat. He goes, I know, again, I'm paraphrasing him, but the way I understood that quote was, I'm Anthony Davis, and I need to go out there and prove that in game 2. So,
I'm not Godzilla. We're not going to win.
Yeah, this has always been the thing with AD is, why can't you get this 45 minutes a game? And there's other reasons for that, because he gets hurt a lot. Sometimes he's disengaged and just wants to show you his 30-foot step-back jumper. Like, of course, you can make that. You're Anthony Davis, but Laker fans are like, all right, you get one of those and then go back to being Anthony Davis after. And sometimes he just refuses to. So he kind of made a point tonight that I'm going to be the best player on the court. And if I motivate myself to do that, then there's really nobody on this planet who can stop me. And then the second answer to that is yes. When Marc Gasol gets all of those minutes and he stands out there on the three-point line, all of a sudden DeAndre Ayton can't just stand on the block and anchor the rim. DeAndre Ayton, again tonight, was awesome. That up and under that he had on Drummond after the blow-by was awesome. And his evolution as a player on both ends is noticeable, especially now in the playoffs when everything that he does well is magnified. So DeAndre Ayton, with Drummond on the court, can just stand on the block and stand in the paint without getting a defensive 3 seconds because Andre Drummond isn't floating anywhere more than 10 to 15 feet away from the rim. But with Marc Gasol out there, it opens up the paint and it allows Anthony Davis to gallop around like a gazelle in the Serengeti and all of that space for him to use his point guard skills. How soon do we forget that man played point guard before he got his growth spurt before Kentucky? So he knows how to play point guard. He has the skills. And if you give him the space to do it, again, there is nobody on this planet that can stop him. And without any sort of resistance from DeAndre Ayton, all of a sudden, he can get to the rim. And Anthony Davis within 10 feet, if he's either dribbling to get there or the opportunities to catch the ball on the block that are 10 feet away and not 18. Because sometimes he loves to get pushed away from the basket and he just doesn't care. But he did not get pushed away from that rim in that fourth quarter tonight. I'm standing here. I'm going to establish myself with position. Throw me the ball on this hand. And he puts his hand out there. And if he catches it within 10 feet, all he's got to do is just turn around because his 19-foot wingspan will just drop it in.
Yeah. He's definitely at his best when he gets the ball on the post. He makes quick decisions. Sometimes I feel like he just sits there, waits, does a little jab step, and shoots it. And God forbid we ever forget that AD was a point guard, because if you were taking shots for every time an announcer mentioned that, I would be on the floor.
Facts. Well, you know what? He forgets sometimes. All right. Or you know what? He forgets sometimes, and then other times he takes it too much to heart. He's like, yo, I was a point guard. Watch this. And we're like, no. You don't need to prove it. We know it. Like, stop trying to shoot threes and shit. Like, go down there and dominate. And he did it tonight. When shit hit the fan, he didn't resort to doing that kind of stuff. When shit hit the fan, he hit the glass. He locked down on defense. He was getting second chance opportunities, whether he got the rebound or not. And of course, if he gets the ball in his hands, in possession, anywhere near the hoop, it's either going to be free throws. That's the biggest sign too. All of those free throws he took, you don't get those unless you are putting pressure on the opponent down in the restricted area. And to get that many free throws is earned. You better believe the refs are not going to give a foul on Anthony Davis because he's so much bigger unless it's earned. All of those free throws felt earned tonight.
Right. It'll be really interesting for me to see what Vogel does for the rest of the series and the rest of the playoffs, because I feel like something that's slept on or not really talked about a whole lot are the adjustments he makes. Because last year in the playoffs, what was it, first round they played against the Blazers first round last year?
Yep.
Yeah. Dwight and JaVale played great against the Blazers. And then game 1 against the Rockets, the next series, they completely looked out of their element. And Vogel immediately switched it up and said, Dwight, JaVale, you're not going to play much this series. I'll be honest with you. These are the adjustments I have to make. You're sitting, and we're going to attack them small ball.
Yeah, I think every Laker fan can agree that they want the lineup closing out the games with AD at the 5. regardless if Gasol's out there. He's a true 5. When he plays 5 and it's the small ball 5, he gets unleashed. It forces him to play on both ends and dominate around the rim. He just doesn't want to do that all the time for whatever reason. That lineup that they put out there of, let's call it Schroeder, KCP, LeBron, and then it's either a combination of Kuzma or Wes Matthews or whoever's got it that night, and then it's AD at the 5. And LeBron's, of course, floating around 1 through 4, but AD's the anchor. And that's the lineup I think is probably their best, that has the most ability to, it's, what's the blood? Is it O negative? The universal blood? That's their universal blood lineup that can take anybody. Like, there's no mismatch anywhere on the court.
Right. All right. One last question. I'll get out of your hair. Let some other people ask some questions. But I know you touched on this earlier when that guy asked a question about Lakers bench players. Kyle Kuzma. He has been a no-show so far this series, and he is just such an enigma to me because his first year, he was like his first 2 years actually, he was like steal of the draft, late second-round pick. His first year, he was dropping 20s regularly, dropping 30s. His second year, he dropped 41 in a game. He was dropping 30s more than the previous year. He was dropping 20 like almost every game, and now he got signed to a 3-year, $40 million extension. It's the same. KCP is making $40 million over 3 years, same what he's making. And I think KCP blows him out of the water as a role player. I know he's a big wing, can defend. He had a nice block on, I think it was Booker or maybe CP3 this game. But if he's not, the only time I feel like he shows up offensively is if LeBron and AD aren't playing. During the regular season, he will go off. What do you think his path is as a role player, and what is his future? Do you think he's reached his ceiling, or like, what is the next step for him? Because he looked so promising for a while, and now he's just a big wing defender who can step up if both stars are out. He's not really in sync with the offense when LeBron and AD are both on the floor. I just don't know with Pat. What do you think?
Well, Eric, thank you for the call. I will say that during the regular season, Kyle Kuzma, I thought, did a really good job to play that exact role. And when LeBron and AD were out, Kyle Kuzma knows, I need to help create, start, initiate, and distribute the basketball. Me and THT, we're the two guys, and Schroeder. We need to go out there and run the offense. Thought he did a great job of that. When LeBron and AD come onto the floor, especially during the championship run, I thought he did a great job of knowing that I don't need to be the microwave scorer. What I need to do is play good defense, slash when there's space, and most importantly, clean up the glass. He hit the offensive glass during this regular season specifically all the time. And that's where he makes his impact. I think if LeBron and AD are out there playing 40 minutes, Kyle Kuzma should not be shooting more than 10 shots. And then the question is, well, why is he out there then? Well, if he finds a way to hit that glass, then he should, absolutely. And he gives you good minutes on defense. Surprising. I know everyone wants to dog Kuzma, but I need to give credit to Vogel to pull the plug on him in nights that he's not engaged, picking up the trash. Sometimes that's his role. And Kuzma has really thrived in doing whatever role is asked of him. He's spoken to that many times. That's really hard to do, to find those guys. Tim Hardaway Jr. on Dallas, who I spoke about before, is amazing at that. When those two are out there, Kyle Kuzma needs to make corner threes. He needs to be 3 and D. He needs to slash and not take up space. He needs to rebound. And if he's not doing that, Vogel will find someone who will. And he did tonight. That's why he only played 20 minutes. He found guys. Check those boxes, because that's what you need around LeBron and AD. Shooters, defenders, and rebounding. Period. KCP gives you that. Wes Matthews can even give you that. THT sometimes can give you that. Still 100 of you in here. 100. Hundred of you requesting, let alone listening. Andre Morales, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Bose? Thank you for having me. So in the third quarter, I'm a Mavs fan, but I feel like this is more of a Clippers no-show rather than a Mavs show. And all all in that third quarter when I think the Clippers only scored 19 points. Is that it always reminded me to that third quarter in that Hawks-Knicks game where Lou Williams was carrying the Hawks when Trae Young was on the bench.
Facts.
And I'm like, how much the Clippers miss Lou Williams
Fucking
in this
facts.
series right now.
So before you even keep going, Andres, you replace Lou Williams with Rondo for chemistry reasons, for playoff experience reasons. Of course, Lou has that, but that's what they tried to tell us. And if Kawhi and Paul George don't have it, they're not always out there at the same exact time. Usually, to your point, Lou Williams comes in at the end of the first quarter and the end of the third quarter and just gives you 8 points in what feels like 45 seconds. That's what he was put on this planet to do.
Yep.
Is score in those exact time frames. And the Clippers don't score right now with that second unit unless one of their stars is out there. They're relying so much on Reggie Jackson to be that Lou Williams, that volume scorer, that volume shooter. He's putting up double-digit attempts per game. Reggie Jackson, when those shots would most likely go to Lou Williams if he was still there. So why is Rondo there to begin with? Like, what is not, if he's not scoring in the second unit, it's just so frustrating to watch because they did give that up. And I'm sure there were locker room reasons why they made that trade. It's the only way it makes sense.
I mean, like I said, I'm a Mavs fan, but it was just frustrating because, I want to give the Mavs the benefit of the doubt for playing defense in that third quarter. But, the Clippers just looked absolutely lost offensively in that third quarter. I really think, given the Mavs missed a lot of free throws, and that could have cost them in the beginning and the end. But that third quarter, I think, for the Clippers was absolutely detrimental. And then one other quick question. So, obviously, 2 games down for the Clippers. You mentioned it before, like, the series is not over, obviously, but 15,000+ people in the American Airlines Center on Friday and whenever Game 4 is. Give me a percentage on if you can give me a percentage on the chances that the Clippers can take Game 3, given all, because the fans at Staples were kind of pathetic. Not gonna lie.
It was pathetic. Don't beat around the bush. That shit tonight was pathetic. Atmosphere in both games were horrible.
Obviously, that's not due to just the Clippers. Obviously, you have to talk with state health officials and all that, and obviously that's not their fault. But obviously, with Cubans also open up the AAC. So yeah, what do you think the percentage of the Clippers taking either Game 3 or 4 in that probably hostile environment? Because after this game, I watched those 2011 NBA Finals, and Dallas has some really, really good fans, and it just gets absolutely loud in there. So, what do you think the percentages for the Clippers getting a dub in Dallas are?
Right, and I should just follow up my own emotional hypothesis by saying you're correct, that there's a reason why there's only a certain amount of people allowed into the arena, and there are bigger reasons than basketball why they can't pack the place, but it did not feel like a home game or anything close to it tonight. So moving on from that, you asked about the chances. And it's funny you asked that, because you know who's favored to win Game 3 in Dallas after what we just watched? You know who's favored?
The Clippers?
Clippers are favored by a point.
That's incredible.
That's the respect. That's the respect they're still getting from bookmakers.
I know. But it's the Clippers. But it's the Clippers. Like, they got Kawhi. They got Paul George. They got all these veterans. And,
they do.
They've been getting them the first 2 games, and look what's been happening. So
It's easy money then. Dallas it's not 50-50. It's actually about 53-47. According to, it's a minus 116 money line at FanDuel, which I think equates to about a 53% chance. And if you think the Mavericks, this series is over, go bet the Mavericks then. They're underdogs. You're getting paid to bet the Mavericks. Put your money where your mouth is. But I will tell you this. There's a reason those tall towers exist in Las Vegas. They did not build themselves. They got built because people run to the counter to bet the Dallas Mavericks as underdogs, being up 2-0 with a 15,000 home court advantage Raucous Arena on Saturday night or Friday night or whenever they play. It makes too much sense.
It does. And then, obviously, we haven't talked about Celtics Nets, but that Death Star in Brooklyn looked really good today. Them in Milwaukee are looking on a dead collision course in the second round. I mean, given that it's the Celtics, they don't have Jaylen Brown. Their defense has been but Kevin Durant, 4 blocks. I mean, that second look potentially, but most likely that second round series looks really good. Given what you've seen of either of Brooklyn, do you think Milwaukee potentially stands a chance, given what you've seen of them against Miami? That'll be my final thing, so you can ask other people.
Oh, good. Thanks. What part of the world you calling from, Andres?
I'm from Dallas.
From Dallas. Appreciate you calling.
Yes, sir.
All right. So to answer your question, first of all, there were a couple moments in that second half tonight when Kevin Durant was being guarded by Romeo Langford, and just if you soon forget how big and tall Kevin Durant is, and what he's built of, because he keeps falling over in falls that would destroy any normal human. He just gets right back up from him. He's like made of liquid metal. There was a moment he catches the ball in the third quarter, turns around, and Romeo Langford, again, who is a stout NBA defender and player, he's young. Kevin Durant just looks down at him. Looks down. The ball's above his head. He looks down. And he didn't do it, but he practically pats him on the head. Like, that's a good boy. Like, it's a good dog. It's a good dog. And then he just shoots over him and just scores. Just insane ability and talent and physicality and athleticism and wingspan and all those things. Now, your question was about Milwaukee. And honestly, if there's anyone in the NBA that has a roster, you're never going to stop the Brooklyn Nets. I've wanted to doubt them thousands of times this season. But ultimately, I came back to the point that they were going to use whatever opponent they faced in that first round when the big three came back. They were going to use that as their version of a glorified scrimmage to get their big three right. They were going to get 4 easy games against some team that they were going to destroy. Whether it's the Celtics, the Hornets, the Pacers, the Wizards, shit didn't matter. They're going to kill everybody. And they were going to get right real quick. So I'm going to assume they're going to be right by the time they face the Milwaukee Bucks, if it's the Milwaukee Bucks. And I can't name one team in the NBA, and this includes the Clippers because I'm done with them. Or not done with them. I'm just done with them tonight. The Milwaukee Bucks, at least in the Eastern Conference, on paper, you figure Drew Holiday guards Kyrie Irving. That's the absolute best matchup possible on planet Earth. Drew Holiday is arguably the best on-ball defending point guard in the NBA. You put him on Kyrie. Okay, let's call that as close to a wash as it gets. You have Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's the reigning defensive player of the year, 2-time MVP. The only person other than Jaylen Brown who I have ever seen guard and defend and block Kevin Durant's standing jump shot. Clean. If there's anyone on this planet who has the size and the athleticism and all those things I just said about Kevin Durant to match and fight fire with fire on the defensive side, it's Giannis. It's Giannis. Prime Kawhi, maybe, but he's not big enough. Giannis is big enough. I'll just consider that a wash just for the hypothetical in this conversation. That leaves James Harden. You know who he's going to draw? You know who he's going to draw? That man he played with and went into the trenches with in the bubble. Remember that PJ Tucker guy who would guard every team's center? Guard anybody on this planet? He's not playing that many minutes currently for Milwaukee, but you better believe every waking second that he spends on that floor, he'll be staring at James Harden's eyes. To give that man 6 fouls in absolute hell. Is he towards the end of his career? Is he not as good as a defender as he was a couple years ago? Sure, I can hear the argument. But if there's anyone who knows how to guard James Harden, it's the guy that was in the foxhole with him at the Battle of the Bubble. They're built for it. They proved it to us in the regular season. That's why they beat them twice. They didn't have their big three, but they still won those games. Didn't happen twice by accident. Why don't we take 2 more? It is 3:30 I'm on 2.5 hours right now. Abhay. One of the two. Looks like a Laker fan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. What's up?
A big fan of you, man. Been following you from past couple of years. Love everything you do.
Much appreciated, my friend. What's on your mind?
My question is for the Clippers. I mean, I don't know why they traded Lou Will. Why did they do that? He was their closer last year. He closed a lot of games for them. They thought Rondo was. I think they thought Luke Kennard was going to replace him at that role, maybe.
I would certainly. I feel like we're not going to get the answer to that question until we hear it on a podcast after everyone's retired. Like when they go on like All the Smoke or Knuckleheads and one of those.
Because he's still giving 15 points for the Atlanta.
Yeah,
he's playing pretty good.
It makes no sense on paper, but there's clearly a reason why they traded him, knowing what he brings that team in all aspects of the game. And until he's in a room smoking it on All the Smoke, getting high with those guys, and they just shoot the shit, and he's like, oh, you know what? I got to tell you about this time that me and Paul George did this. And it'll be 4 years from now. And then we'll finally look back and be like, okay, that's why the Clippers traded him, is because of that. And I don't know the answer to that question. But it makes no sense because you brought in Rondo, who's supposed to be the glue guy in the locker room.
Yep.
We saw what he did with the Lakers. We've seen what he's done with the Celtics and teams in the past. And Rondo has a great reputation of being this floor general, whether it's on the court or off. And if they felt like they needed him because Kawhi's not the vocal leader or Paul George isn't the vocal leader in there, we'll get those answers at some point. But you sure gave up a lot of scoring and a lot of clutches at some point here. Like the leadership, like all that matters, but you got to put the ball in the hoop at some point. And Lou Williams is really good at that. So I hope we get that answer one day. And it better be a good one, especially if they end up losing this series in the first round and it all falls apart. Because you thought losing 3-1 to the Nuggets, blowing 3-1 to the Nuggets was bad. If they get swept against the Mavericks, oh my God, I don't know.
I just have a small prediction. If they get swept, I think Ty Lue is going to be an assistant coach for Doc next year, maybe.
Assistant coach for who?
Doc Rivers.
For Doc. Oh my God. I don't know how he stays if they get swept.
I know.
Ballmer has shown a very quiet ruthlessness in not just coaches but staff members. And if you're not there to win a championship right now, Steve Ballmer has no time for you. He didn't overpay 3x for that franchise to not win a championship with this team. So, of course, nothing would surprise me. I think Kawhi will stay regardless just because he's such an LA guy and he just bought 6 houses in LA. I don't think he's going anywhere. But
and Paul George can go too because he signed a pretty big deal.
But no one will ever trust you again. Not that they trust you now, but you're going to have to earn respect, which will never be given.
They just have Clipper, Darrell, and Marcellus while he left. Probably they're going to leave too if they sweep them.
Only time will tell, my friend. Thank you for the call.
Thanks. Love from India. Bye.
India. Wow. There's another on Twitch. India. I should have asked what city. Oh, fuck. All over the world. We are global. Who's up? What are y'all still all doing awake? There's got to be some United States people in here. What do y'all? I see some similar faces. What are y'all still doing up at 3:30 in the morning? Jamel. What's up, Jamel? Nice basketball hoop in your picture. Jamel going once. Jamel going twice. Sorry, Jamil. I tried. Got to be different to make a difference. Talk to me, Jamie. Or Jaime. Sorry. Working the third shift, searching for answers. That's what people in Twitter Live are saying, why they're still up. This has made my 2 hours way more fun than expected. Well, thanks for sticking around, guys. I appreciate it. All right. Jaime wasn't here. I'm only going to go to people who are waving at me now. Hey, oh, lots of waves at me. Reezy, I got you.
Yo, what's good?
What's going on? What part of the world are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Atlanta, but don't worry, I'm not against you. I'm from Sacramento, so I'm a Kings fan.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I have also, first of all, I have nothing against Atlanta. They're just the team that we're playing. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm rooting for them since I'm here. Can't lie to you.
Yeah, it's all good. I have nothing. If we get beat by them, I have no remorse.
But yeah, man, I'm a LeBron stan, to be honest, just because of my age. I'm 23, so I've grown up with him like my whole life. And it's sad to see Chris Paul injured, but it's looking like a pretty easy win for the Lakers if that's the case. So I really want to talk about this Kawhi dude. I just he had the opportunity, like someone said earlier. I've been thinking about it this whole time I've been listening. He had the opportunity to win 3 championships, and he just had this pride kick where he was going to be the king of LA. And I just don't see it. I know you said you see it, but I think Paul George is less than a 2. I think that's kind of the issue. I really do. I think he's a really good 3, and you probably win a championship that way. But let's hypothetically say that they lose, which I think they will. What can the Clippers do to kind of revamp this team? Like is it getting rid of Paul George? I mean, cause I think Kawhi would probably stay, because I don't think he cares honestly that much about winning. He's kind of proved it. Leaving the Spurs and then also not joining the Lakers. So I kind of want to know what you think, even if it's in series adjustment. I know you talked about a couple of those, but what you just think the Clippers can actually do to be like a legitimate championship contender? I know a lot of people see it, but I just don't see it.
You're saying with this year's team, how can they?
I'm saying with this current roster, whether it be this year, like what they could do, or what they could do in the offseason. Either way.
Yeah, it has to be this season, because Lord knows what's going to happen during free agency with Kawhi. So that's a tale for a different day. But what can they do? I don't know anything else I haven't discussed yet. I mean, my silence is me thinking. So give me a second here. I want to play Serge Ibaka more. I know that much. I want to play Serge Ibaka because he can stretch the floor. He can give you threes if you need it on offense. He's a necessary protector of the rim. I want Serge Ibaka. I'm just going to, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to construct a lineup. This is what we're going to do. I'm kicking my feet up. We're going to construct a lineup, an ideal lineup for the Los Angeles Clippers. Serge Ibaka is my center. If Zubats can't be out there guarding the pick and roll, I love him to death, but he's got to sit. So Ibaka is my center. Kawhi and Paul George have to be out there. No questions asked. For reasons I've described now for hours. And I can't agree that Paul George is a 3. I think Paul George is a 2. I know what I saw this season. I can't take that away from him. He struggled a little bit tonight, but the man is good. The man is really freaking talented. And he needs to be the Robin. So those 2 plus Ibaka. Now, what are we doing in the backcourt? This is the big question. Is it Beverly? Is it Reggie Jackson? Is it Luke Kennard? Oh my God, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's just I don't want to be hypocritical or contradict myself. So my answer is going to be, now that I'm pulling up the box score, is it Rondo? Oh my God, no. This is what I want to do, because I'm desperate. I want to take big swings.
Okay.
Those 3: Ibaka, Leonard, Paul George, Terrence Mann. Oh my God, am I going? I have to have Marcus Morris on the floor, don't I? Oh my God, wow. I'm going big here. I'm going big. The theme here is I'm going big with guys that I feel like can play defense, if they're going to switch the pick and roll still. I'm confident with all 5 of these guys being on the floor switching. They can protect the rim, and they still give you outside shooting. So let's just go big for the hell of it, while it's technically not putting any true centers out there. Just for the shits and giggles.
Yeah.
No Rondo, no Jackson, no Beverly. Let's go Terrence Mann. Let's go Marcus Morris, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Ibaka. And Paul George can bring the damn ball up the floor. I don't need a specific one, a specific 2. I know how good Terrence Mann is on defense. I watched the entire Clippers season. It frustrates me to hell that he's not involved 30-plus minutes in this game. And is it because he hasn't been out there in the playoffs? I don't buy that for a second. Because he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. I have enough three-point shooting in Marcus Morris. That's a best three-point shooting season of his career. Kawhi can shoot threes. Paul George can shoot threes. Terrence Mann can shoot threes. And Ibaka can shoot threes. I have 5 guys who can shoot threes. And I have 5 lockdown defenders on the other side. That's supposed to be lockdown. I'm benching everybody else. The first man off the bench can be Nicholas Batum because he also fits that bill. A defender, 3-and-D guy. That's my 6th man. But I'm going big. I'm going big with athletes to punish the Jalen Brunsons, to make Luka have to defend, to make Porzingis come out there and guard outside the three-point line while still having someone that can protect the paint. That's my lineup. That's what I'd be at peace with. If that lineup lost, it'll never happen because Ty Lue doesn't have the balls to put that lineup out there. Let's be honest. That would be my lineup if I'm head coach and I'm down 0-2 and nothing's working.
Before I go, I really appreciate talking to you. It's my second call on with you. But as a Kings fan, I'm just going to say, before I go, I got to see Boogie and Rondo on the court. To me, I want to see him in the starting lineup. That's all I'll say. But I'll catch you later.
All good, man. Thanks for the call. There's a Twitter live comment about what's the definition of insomnia? Or not insomnia. What's the definition of what did you say? What is the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, looking for a different result. And I seem to be doing that with the Clippers. To change the topic real quick, I want to quote Kenny Smith, who had a phenomenal line that coming into this Laker game tonight, Kenny Smith asked, are the Lakers going to be the champions of old, referring to last season, and the engaged Anthony Davis and LeBron James? Or are they going to be old champions? Meaning champions that look old. And you could say the same now about the Clippers. They're not champions, but replace the word champions with what the Clippers looked like in the regular season when they tried. What happened to that Clippers team that played the Nuggets to open the season? That looked like they had hell to pay. Where's that team? Where's the champions of old? Because all I see is the old Clippers. Where's the Clippers of old? All I see is the old Clippers. Put that on a shirt. Nick. What's good, Nick?
Hey, what's up, Rob? How you doing?
Been better, as you can tell. But I'm still here.
Yeah. I'd consider myself a newer fan. I started following you this year, but I really love your content, man. I really love this environment that you got. I think it's really cool what you're doing.
It's much appreciated. Certainly think of it as not a comedy club, but just anywhere you just pass around a microphone and imagine if someone in the audience had it one at a time. And of course, I think the audience is what drives a lot of the NBA Twitter conversation, a lot of the engagement with the league. You know, they really were the first professional sports league here in the United States to kind of dominate social media. As all the other leagues have caught up by now, but part of that is because of the audience and very democratic way of expressing opinions, and that's the goal here. You know, I'm just someone hitting the buttons and trying to answer questions, but that's it.
Yeah, man. I'm from Buffalo, New York, so I'm a Knicks fan too. So I'm riding high with everything they're doing. I love this team, man.
Welcome to hell, or welcome to my hell, my personal hell.
Yeah.
I'm very cautiously optimistic Knicks fan. If we lost in 5 games, I wouldn't feel bad about it because I know everything in this season from this point forward is just a luxury. It's house money. We're free rolling. I was expecting a 500 season at best, and I would be doing myself a disservice if I was upset about anything else. Of course, I want us to win. I just don't think we have the talent to compete against a team that does things as good as the Knicks do. The Hawks do everything that we do, and they have more talent. That's why I didn't want to play them. But I'll be rooting for them. Don't get me wrong. I'll be here. I'll be screaming.
Yeah, they just play so hard, man. I mean, Derrick Rose's career revival has just been such an awesome story. And I've been a huge RJ Barrett fan from the start. And watching guys like quickly develop and just watching the way that they try to run the floor with a superstar with Julius Randle and just give him the ball and pray. Like, I'm surprised they made it this far, but I'm certainly happy.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm looking forward to seeing if the Knicks can. Alec Burks can keep it up. Can he score 30 points again? Alec Burks. I can't believe we're talking about Alec Burks this way. Can Alec Burks do it again? Can Julius Randle do it if Alec Burks is also doing it? Because both have to click for the Knicks to win. Can the Knicks separate? They have this fascination, this fetish almost, for playing to the level of their competition. I'm thinking of that game against the Milwaukee Bucks back in, let's call it March. End of March. Maybe beginning of April. They played a 7-man Milwaukee Bucks team where their best player was Jordan Nwora. And the Knicks barely won that game. Barely. With their entire team. Without Julius Randle. But they had everyone else. A team they should have beaten by 35 points that night. They just played to the level of their competition, and every game is going to be close. So, can they ever separate? Can they take advantage of an 8-point lead and not let Lou Williams come in there and just erase the lead in 30 seconds? Because that's what happened game 1. And I have a feeling it's going to happen again in game 2. Who can be that guy off the bench to score? Is it Derrick Rose? Alec Burks? Manuel Quickley? Maybe some Obi Toppin. He's giving up some good minutes, but asking a lot, man. Asking a lot from this team. And the Knicks have always delivered a lot. I just don't know how much they have left. What can they actually give? I don't know. That's why they play.
Yeah, man. Maybe not this season, but I mean, developing that core when Toppin comes into his own and Emmanuel Quickley, whose plus minus has been so good this year, like, that just gives me hope. But my main question that I wanted to actually ask is about the Celtics, actually, because a couple of years ago, you know, when Kyrie got hurt and Tatum and Smart, who I think were both rookies, not Smart, Jaylen Brown, maybe he was in his second year, but they took that team to the playoffs and they looked like they were going to have a bright future ahead of them. And now they just seem broken, you know, barely getting into the playoffs. And obviously they're going against the flamethrower that is the Nets team. I mean, watching Joe Harris just light them up for like 6 for 8 in like the first quarter. Like, what's broken about that team and why can't they just like, what do they have to do to figure it out? Because they've always interested me with, I love Jason Tatum and that core that they built, but they just seem broken, man.
Not having Jalen's a big problem, which they can't solve right now. Playing the Nets is a big problem, which they can't solve right now. And they looked pretty damn good against the Wizards in the play-in game. So against normal mortal opponents, it feels like they're still on par in that little tier of below the top tier of Eastern Conference teams. But I think your question is like, what can you do to fix them? And they didn't trade Tatum. They didn't trade Jalen. That worked out great for them. They didn't retain Hayward, and they I think they were praying that Kemba would fill the talent gap that Hayward left behind. Because even with those 4 out there, there's still only 1 ball. So we figure we can make up for that because Kemba's Kemba, right? Well, Kemba hasn't been Kemba in a long time in regards to this season. So you're not getting rid of him either. No one's taking on that contract without costing you something. They got to build through the draft. That's how they built this team in the first place. They're already near the luxury tax. That's why they got rid of Daniel Tice in the first place. They didn't want to pay no luxury tax. Give up their one true center. They got to find a way to get a guy in there, whether it's a Langford. They tried to Carson Edwards. They got to find someone out there that can be who's answer this question for me as a Boston Celtics fan. Other than Marcus Smart, who's a true 3-and-D guy on that team? Jalen? Yeah, but he's the star. Who's a 3-and-D guy? Who is the Andre Iguodala of that team outside of Marcus Smart? Is there an answer to that?
I don't think so. Not that I can come up with right away.
So you surround your stars with shooters. That's step one to building a successful NBA team. But the league and the game has evolved to the point that those shooters have to be able to play defense too. Why is Joe Harris so effective? One, because he plays with a bunch of superstars and he's always wide open. And he's a 50% shooter when he's wide open. Okay? But he's also been able now to carry his weight on defense to not be a liability. I wouldn't consider him an elite defender by any means or even a great defender. But I've never found him to be a liability. I felt like he has always been a part of that system. On this Boston Celtics team, Semi Ojeleye, Neesmith, some of these guys have to develop at some point. All these draft picks that you have been hoarding, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, at some point they have to not be just potential if you're trying to win a championship. You either put them together and you make a big trade to bring in a bona fide star, or you got to land one. It's one thing to fleece the Brooklyn Nets and get all those picks all those years. It's another thing to use those picks that turn into something that actually turns into a championship. They've done it with Jalen, and they've done it with Jason. But if they're not going to go out there and spend, and they're not going to go into the luxury tax, it's got to be through the draft. And the most recent picks have not panned out. Peyton Pritchard is probably their best guy. And he's got his limitations, as we know. We'll see.
Yeah, man. It just seems like so much has changed, man. If you asked me, I thought they were going to run the East for years, comparatively to how much better the West was, and they just bottomed out, man. I'm not even a big Celtics guy, but I've always been a Jason Tatum fan, and I've always liked something about it, man. I don't know if I'm a Brad Stevens fan, what it is, but I'm like, something about this team I don't hate, but man, they have sorely disappointed over the past year. So,
Nick, appreciate the call, man.
All right, thanks.
I'm watching TNT's still on my TV right now as you guys are listening and watching to this. There's 1:45 left in the fourth quarter. Out on the floor for the Boston Celtics is Waters, Luke Cornett, Semi Ojeleye, Grant Williams, and Carson Edwards. Grant Williams is probably the closest answer to that 3-and-D question. That's the answer. But if that is the answer, they got a lot of work to do. A lot. Paul George, by the way. Nice little quote. Post-game, Paul George. How do you think he responded? Quote, "We have to rise to the occasion. Fact of the matter is, if we don't, we're done for. But there is no level of concern." That's out of his own lips. He said that. Just doesn't stop. Here's one from Ty Lue. They got to win 4 games. And you come in on the opposing team's floor and you play. There's no pressure. You can make shots because you just try to come in and steal a game or steal 2 games. But now they got to go home and try to keep up the same shooting. Oh, that's reassuring. Ty Lue thinks they're not gonna make those wide open threes anymore. They got to keep up that same shooting. That's not gonna happen. Oh, that's reassuring. It's all good in Clipper land. Apparently, they're all good. They're not losing a minute of sleep over this. It's all good. I feel so much better now. I'm definitely not being sarcastic. Unbelievable. Close us out, Jaime. Give you a chance.
Yo.
What up?
What's good?
Not a whole lot.
I'm with you though. The Clippers are winning this series.
There we go. Finally, some positive reinforcement. Why do you say that?
Because there's no way they can't lose. You remember that Toronto series? Who were they down 2-0 to? Was it Boston?
Milwaukee.
With Kawhi?
Milwaukee.
That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to win 4 straight games.
They did it against Milwaukee. There's a reason why they're favored in Game 3.
Exactly. I kind of want to take them in the series with the Lakers to win the series. I have like 2 bets right now, and it's on the all series bets, and they're looking all right.
Well, this is why they play the game, my friend.
They got it, though, easily. I feel like there's no way they can't lose. And if they lose, Kawhi's out.
I am chasing my own tail right now, Jaime. Thank you for your support. On that note, 3:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here in the middle of the woods. I think it's time. Got it all out of my system. I'm convinced we're going to win Game 3. Like I'm a Clipper fan. I just don't want to have to come in here and listen to you people. I'll be here. I'm willing to take my L's. I'll be here. You can get off all your takes. I'll be more than happy to listen. This is what I do. All right. Y'all know the drill by now. If you're listening on Spaces, we're going to hop on over to Twitter Live and Twitch for a quick little post-show wrap-up, little after show. Get feedback from you guys in the chat room. And we'll do this again. We'll wake up tomorrow. I can hear the birds chirping now. Now I definitely have to hang up. The birds are chirping. I know you can't hear it, but I can. Twitter Spaces, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you over on Twitch. Till next time, Radio Roulette. Hello. No Gallinari. No Gallinari until the series is over. I'm not giving him the time of day while the Knicks are still alive. Don't y'all have to go to bed? From Oman. Wow. That's a long way away. Almost 5 a.m. here in Argentina. Still laughing out loud. I don't know if I can trust where you guys are saying. Someone claims they're from Nepal. You gotta be from Nepal if you're up at this hour. Crazy. And Twitch never sleeps, apparently. I can't ever hang up on you guys. You know what I need? I need like a cookie or something. I'm hungry. Somebody in Twitter Live asked, was Rondo yelling at Lou and Ibaka? What is he referring to? When was that? I had Taco Bell for dinner. Yeah, this is why I need to get back to California, because it would only be 12:54. Reports of Rondo yelling at Lou and Ibaka. What? Who keeps saying this? Y'all just making shit up again. They were yelling. Was it typical basketball banner? Alright, do I need to look it up? I was watching. Why didn't I see it? Rondo yelling. Am I about to get rickrolled? Rondo came off the court, ticked off, looked like he yelled at Ty Lue. Now he's yelling at Ibaka, who's yelling back. Rondo's... Do I need to go find this video? Why is there no video? Why does everyone just keep saying it? Why can't anyone just give me the video? There's not a single video of it. People just keep tweeting about it. Okay, so 11:17 p.m. 11:17 p.m. is that's the first half. Tip-off wasn't until 10:40. That was the first half. And he went back in anyway. Yeah, I saw the report, but is it worth me going and finding? What's your question, ZZ? Sorry. I can look it up. So, it's when he's taken out of the game? I don't know about the Kennard trade, man. He played well this year. I figured it was more than just a tradable contract. So I'm going to go to the second quarter. I'm going to assume it's the second quarter. Yeah, DM it to me. Or just, why would you DM it? Just put it in the chat. And we'll find it. When does he come out in the second quarter? Because that's probably when he does the yelling. This better be good. This better be a legitimate yell. I just need a timestamp. Y'all pissing me off. They were not on the court while this happened. Well, then there's no quad box. Okay, here we go. Thank you, CJ McGuire. I'm watching. Thank you, CJ. Someone who actually sent me a link. Okay, the ball gets kicked away. Rondo! Rondo! That's it? That is yelling? That's what everyone is making a big deal about? See, this is why I don't trust you. That gets 5,000 likes? Of course it does, because the dude didn't put the video in the fucking tweet. I wonder why. It's nothing. Probably Rondo trying to motivate the fucking team to wake the fuck up. A lot of us said not worth your time, mister. Well, I must have missed that one. Clearly. I'm sick of eating these pretzels. I'm sick of just sitting here eating this whole fucking jar. Too lazy to go get other food. No time because I'm sitting here listening to people trying to find videos that aren't worth it. Just eating granola bars. I don't know. I want to go to bed. It's 4 o'clock. Oh, okay, Bob. Fuck you. It was probably just an unforgiving angle. We all can't go onto Instagram and just put some filter on top of us. Get rid of all of our flaws. There's Sid. Sid says, hopefully the world sees how important Lowry was in 2019. Kind of facts. What's wrong with the dad bod? I'm going to cancel all of you. Dad bod shaming. Canceled. Yeah, thank you. Hey, Doobie. Shout out Wob. First time I heard you was on 95.7 The Game. Radio station in the Bay. Damon Bruce, I assume. Good guy. I'll have to chat it up with them again sometime. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, I've had enough of you Twitch chat today. Tonight. B- for the Twitch chat. Oh, hey, thanks for the sub, though. Back up to a B. No, of course not. All of my mods and my comments sent it, of course. 64 subs. 64 subs. We're killing it. I'm just frustrated. Just deal with me. If you can't handle me at my hit the damn music, you don't deserve me at my Clippers. Wait, I got that backwards. If you can't handle me at my Clipper, whatever. You fucking get it. Hey, thanks for the sub. Magnet shit. Oh, wait. Magenta sheet. Sorry. I thought it was magnet shit. Oh, man. Somebody said, look at Montrezl Harrell's likes. Why does Montrezl Harrell follow me? That's an interesting question. Montrezl Harrell said, liked. They really said Montrez was the issue on the Clippers. And then he liked, why the fuck is Montrez not in the rotation tonight? Nice. Well done. I don't know. I got way too pissed off at a Clipper game in which I don't have any emotional or investment, financial investment in. All right. I think that's it. Yes. Everyone's asking, can we please go to bed? I will grant your wish. That is the end of this stream. I'll see you guys soon, okay? Till next time. I'm sure we'll have nothing to talk about tomorrow. Please, just for the love of God, can we get a blowout in the Knicks game so I don't have to do this again? I'm burned out. I am burned out. Please win. Goodbye.